Welcome to Optional Dialogue, episode 94. Once again, I'm your host, Sebastian, and I'm joined by Dory and Mitch.
Yeah.
So today we look forward to 2024. We're going to talk about all the games coming out in 2024. We're going to make our predictions, and we're going to talk about our most anticipated games. So we're actually going to get started with our most anticipated games. It's going to be similar to the top 10 game list, where like if we have any same games on our list, we'll just talk about it like then. So I'll start off because I'm sure it's probably all on your list. It's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah, of course. It's my number one.
Yeah,
that's my number one as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Obviously, it's my most anticipated game. Final Fantasy VII is my top 3 favorite game of all time. I love the remake. I'm playing it again on Steam Deck. I'm very, very curious how they turn this game into an open world game, considering how Final Fantasy VII is mostly an open world game, the original, and and the remake was very much linear. So I'm curious how they turn that linear gameplay into like an open world section. But it seems like they're doing a good job. It seems like there's still a linear storyline for the most part. It seems like it's following the original pretty closely to the most part, but they're still doing that time travel thing. So
time chicanery stuff
with Zack and everything. So I'm curious about that. But
this is my number one. I mean, I'm very excited for this. When they announced the remake, I had recently when was that 2020 2019
2020
like yeah 2020 I was very hyped. I played the original but got my ass kicked as a kid, and so gave up on it pretty early on, and never went back to it. And so being able to play it now is so cool, especially as somebody who, I mean, I know some big moments, but I don't know a lot of the specific details about what happens. And obviously they're changing some things, but a large amount, from what I understand, amount of the core story is still there. The characters are slightly different. Maybe they're more fleshed out, but generally speaking, the plot is the same, minus the spirits and all that shit. The only thing I want from this sequel, honestly, is just better checkpoints for final bosses, please. Because I wanted to tear my heart out and never breathe again. And also, if you could please make it easier to hit airborne enemies, thank you. Because I fucking lost my shit at one fight. But other than that, I was so satisfied. I mean, the graphics for this look incredible. The characters I loved. I'm a big RPG person. I love Kingdom Hearts, of course. So yeah, this is number one. I could honestly see this being the game of the year for me. Would not be surprised at all if they improve that combat and they give better checkpoints, and continue that same great story. I loved it a lot. I know some people are a little divisive on the late game story, but I loved it a lot. And I mean, when it comes to convoluted anime shit, I'm on board. So that's not a problem for me personally. That sounds like a other people's problem to me. But anyway, Mitch.
I actually didn't have this on my list, to be honest. Not because I don't think it'll be good, or because like I'm not even half interested in playing it. It's more so just because, similarly to the first Final Fantasy VII remake and even Final Fantasy 16, it's like kind of like it's one of those games that like I'm comfortable just waiting with for like Christmas or birthday, or like like a deep sale to get. It's like I don't have that big of investment in the series, but I hope it'll be good. But I'm not actively biting my fingernails to get at this one, if that makes sense.
I mean,
I'll more than happily be like on the sidelines going like, yeah, you go,
yeah. Rah.
So while we do a 40-minute impressions, I want you to do this the entire time.
Just waving my hands and like get the banners and signs like I'm at a wrestling match.
Yes.
FF7.
Yeah, that's right.
Whoa.
Dory, what were you gonna say?
It's funny because this is like the one still getting over a cough, almost there. But out of my whole list that I've got like 13 games or something. A lot of them honorable mentions that I could zoom through if need be. But my number one is this game, and this is like the only game I'm absolutely like day one on. So it's funny Mitch says he could wait till Christmas because I couldn't even imagine that. The only ones I'm day one on are my first game and my second game, and that's it. Everything else is dependent on reviews and scores. It's an interesting year for me. But anyway, who's up next?
It's also ironic for me because it's gonna be my first day one game of the year. I mean, Final Fantasy is my favorite series after Resident Evil. I'm a giant Final Fantasy fan. I mean, I'm wearing a Final Fantasy 16 shirt right now,
Nice.
and I mean, Final Fantasy it's very special to me. So this is obviously day one for me. I mean, this is day zero. Like as soon as we can pre-order, I mean, we probably can pre-order it now, right? But
if Seb could rob someone on the street and get an early copy, he would consider it highly.
Yes.
He would highly consider it.
Definitely. Yes. So I would storm Square Enix like Cloud bursts into Shinra with the sword and everything.
That's right.
All right. So Dory, what is your second most anticipated game?
Oh, I'm so excited that we're talking about this one. Hades 2, motherfucker! It's coming out this year. Let's go!
I didn't include that in my list because I knew you were going to mention it, so I wanted to do something different. But Hades 2 is excited for me too.
It's also an early access game, so I understand anybody not counting this. Also, if it's just not your jam. I'm not going to go on my long-winded tangent about Hades and how much I love it, but I adore it, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. It's not a 5 out of 5 for me, weirdly, looking back. I think I gave it like a 4.5 out of 5, but I'm basically a 5 out of 5. And I love Hades a lot. I love the combat. I love the plot. Love the characters, the voice acting. Just so much about it. Of course, there's gay shit, so extra points for that. And Hades 2 is even better because you have a female protagonist, so that's great. I always love that. I always love it better when there's a choice between thank you, sweetie. There's a choice between like different protagonists. But this is really cool. Like you get to be a completely different character. I think she's like the daughter of Hades. I could be wrong. But she's like related to Zagreus in some way that I forget. It's super cool. And actually, one of my friends who I have gotten to know better over the past year or something like that, she's like really into that character. So I get to be like really hype with her about Hades 2, but in like a completely different context because she's like really into like various gods and stuff like that. Like it's one of her special interests. So I get to just talk to her about like Hades 2 and like we get to fangirl about it. But I'm very excited for this. I mean, it is early access. Again, I understand if people aren't like jazzed about it. Normally, I wouldn't do early access, but I mean, it's Hades 2, so I'm day one. Similar to Seb, I'm day zero. If I see, some kind of high-level executive up there on the street, I'm grabbing a copy. But I don't know. This is just so hyped for me. I'm sure it'll have some kinks to work out, some bugs to work out. I'm sure there'll be some problems. But I'm really excited to be some of the first people to play it. And you bet your bottom dollar that I was going to say bet your ass, but that sounded weird. So then I went for a weirder, more archaic saying. Anyway, you can bet that I'm going to have like a whole ass, like 30-minute.
Instead you went for Annie reference. So
that's right. I was like, wait, is that a musical reference? Anyway, very excited for Hades. Seb, if you want to talk about it too, that'd be great.
Yes, for sure. I mean, Hades 2 is another game I will definitely get day one. I love Hades. I'm playing that again on Steam Deck as well. It's the perfect handheld game. And we've talked about it extensively, so I won't go too much into it. But Hades 2 is going to be really hype. It is an early access. I don't know if it will come out this year, but I do think we will at least be able to play it somewhat, maybe a demo or something this year. So we'll see. So yeah, very excited about that. I put that in my honorable mentions because I knew Dory was going to mention it. Mitch, what is your most anticipated game of this year?
I mean, yeah, like number one right off the bat is probably most definitely going to be Silent Hill 2 Remake. I'm just sort of coming in strong with it. even though it's not like officially confirmed to be coming out this year, it's like it's coming out this year. I feel like we all know it at this point. It's we don't know much about it in all honesty, and we haven't seen anything since. Yeah, I don't think we've heard anything since its October 2022 reveal, but it's just a brand new Silent Hill game, and you know what was that that Ascension series game thing. That's not going to stop me from being excited for it. Bloober team developing, not going to stop me from getting excited over it. I look, as long as it's just a better playing, better looking Silent Hill 2, and they don't, even if they don't change a single thing, I'm happy. I'm happy. That's really all there is to it. Yeah, that's.
Now, see, I keep saying I'm not going to buy games day one, and like now every game mentioned so far, I'm going to get day one. I mean,
yeah.
You guys are really hitting on my list. Again, I didn't put this on my list because I knew Mitch was going to mention it, but
it's also on mine.
Silent Hill 2 is in my top 6 games of all time. I absolutely know that game. Like, I have a PhD in that game. I know that game like the back of my hand. I know all the. I can give you a super psychoanalysis of that game. I absolutely love that game. I think that game was ahead of its time. I've never seen. That's one of the first times I've seen a video game actually have a video game where that tackles like serious issues like depression, anxiety, suicide. I've never seen that in a video game before. Like it was really, really ahead of its time. Because a lot of games back then were just like platformers and like shooters and things like that. Everything was basic. Like this game like actually delves into really serious topics. But I am cautiously optimistic because I'm not the biggest fan of Bloober Team. I haven't cared for most of their games. I thought their last game was average. I mean, it felt like a Silent Hill game, but it was average.
It was literally called the medium, and it was mid as fuck.
Yeah, the medium. That's what we called it. But I see the potential there. Like if they just improve the gameplay, which is ultimately the biggest weakness of Silent Hill 2, the original. The gameplay doesn't hold up super well. I mean, it's outdated tank controls and stuff, and the camera angles and all that. But that also adds to the charm and the horror of like the fixed camera angles and in the dark and in the fog and stuff like that. So I am also curious how they handle the fog, because the fog was used in the PS2 to hide the limitations of the game. So it might have been unintentional, but it really made the game better. I'm curious how they do it in this game.
Yeah, it would be great if they just actually got rid of the fog and remastered the graphics. I think that would make everybody happy, and there would definitely be no backlash about that at all.
None at all. And
change the whole dub too.
Yep.
Just hire Troy Baker for every character.
Yep.
True. Correct.
Yeah.
Objectively correct.
Yeah, if you play that game, please play the PS2 emulated version of it. Don't play the remaster because it doesn't hold up.
Play the enhanced edition on PC. You can get it for free.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to set up. It's worth it.
Yeah. All right. So my second most anticipated game of the year.
Ooh. Wait a second. I still got to talk about Silent Hill.
Oh, okay. Go
ahead. It is on my list. It's on my actual list, not just my honorable mentions. It's barely on my list, I should say. Mm-hmm. It is number 5, I believe.
Okay.
Let me check it. I thought it was on the right page, but I wasn't. Anyway, no, it's number 4. Yeah, so I mean, I didn't grow up playing Silent Hill. I knew about Silent Hill because one of my friends at the time, Patrick, was really into Silent Hill. So he would always talk to me about it and tell me about it, and he was very excited about it. I never played it. I was more of a Resident Evil person growing up. Not that you can't be both. But I did, kind of like what I heard about it, but yeah, it just kind of passed me by. And I didn't know about it when I had a PS2. I was too busy playing Spider-Man and The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction and a bunch of other games. Games that are nothing like Silent Hill 2. But yeah, I'm very excited. The graphics look great. I'm with Seb that there's a reason why it's kind of higher up on my list because Bloober team doesn't have the best track record, but this should be a slam dunk for a team that is so inspired by Silent Hill and obviously can do the graphics justice and clearly has a lot of support from the original Japanese team. I would think this is going to be a slam dunk, but I have similar vibes, not exactly the same vibes, but similar vibes that I did when RE4 remake was happening. I'm like, I think this will be really good, but I'm not completely sure. So I'm like Seb, I'm going to be optimistic about it cautiously. But yeah, I hope it's great, and I hope they get rid of the tank controls. I figure they will.
We know for sure that they are, because we've seen gameplay of it. It got leaked a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm really into it, and like Seb says, it deals with a lot of psychological elements that I think is always great, and I love psychological horror. So this should be extremely my jam.
Yeah, I'm curious how well it does. Let's say it is a good game. I'm curious how well it sells, because Silent Hill is one of those franchises that never has sold well, and that yet Twitter would have you believe that like it's a hugely popular horror franchise.
Would you say it's
it's not?
It's like the Metroid of Sony products.
It absolutely is. Metroid's a great comparison. Where like if you went by online discourse, you would think Metroid and Silent Hill are giant franchises that sell like massively, like Resident Evil does, and it does not. So I'm curious if people actually live up to the hardcore gamers live up to what they're preaching. So we'll see. I hope it's a huge success. I mean, I'm really hyped for this game.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. So my second most anticipated game of the year is Dragon's Dogma 2, which is Capcom's biggest game of the year. This game looks everything from I see this game looks amazing. It looks first game still holds up. It's free on Plus. It's usually like $5 on sale. It's on Steam for like $5. It's on PlayStation for $5. It's a really fun game. It has a lot of cool enemy designs. It has a lot of fantasy elements. It has a lot of cool action set pieces. It has a lot of like you can have a crew of people with you. You can customize it. And this game just adds on to the already fun gameplay of the first game and makes it look even better. All the class designs look great. All the magic looks like just popped off the screen. I'm probably gonna play a mage build from what I'm seeing. This game just looks like Capcom's next big game, and this might become like their next big IP. Because I feel like the first game is kind of underrated. So this game has serious potential to be a game of the year contender. I feel like it's gonna be in the 90s, and I feel like it's my early prediction, spoiler, of being like the game of the year. I feel like it might be this year's Baldur's Gate. I'm not saying it's gonna be as good as Baldur's Gate, but I think it's going to be in that like conversation. Like it's gonna be like one of those games that like people are kind of sleeping on, but like the hardcore fantasy people are like hyping it up, and then it comes out and then it explodes. And it has
Capcom. I'd be interested to see it.
Yeah,
this is a game. I don't have any experience with Dragon's Dogma, and I haven't been impressed by the trailers, but also because I don't have a large kind of background with them, I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking for or what I'm supposed to be impressed by. I'm just going to wait for reviews, and I'm going to wait to see, do we know how much it is, like 60, 70, something like that?
I'd assume 70.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
But yeah, I haven't been blown away by it. It's not even on my honorable mentions, but
it's
it
70.
Is something. 70, okay. But yeah, I mean, that was a big asking price for me when Baldur's Gate came around, and yet I spent 100 and something hours on it. So, I mean, maybe. I'm a big RPG fan. It's action RPG, which I love. So I'll definitely pay attention to reviews and see whether it's worth, investing that kind of money. 70 is a lot.
Yeah, the day it comes out there's 3 games that come out on the same day, and that would be Dragon's Dogma 2, that Peach game, and and that Rise of Ronin, that Ronin game.
Oh wow, that's all the same day. Holy cow!
All on the same day, yeah. The Peach game's gonna sell well because Nintendo fans do their own thing, but I'm curious about the Ronin and how its chance against. I wonder which game's gonna get affected by both games coming out the same day, or something gets delayed. I don't know, but we'll see. Does anyone else have it? Mitch, do you have this on your list at all?
No, similarly to Dory, I've I have fleeting familiarity with this game, and yeah, I was going to say I'm honestly that's why I was so shocked when he said it would be like potentially on Baldur's Gate 3 level of popular, at least among RPG fans. I was like, I had no idea that. Well, not so much that there was this much hype behind the game, but like that it looked that good.
Yeah, I mean,
like I remember when the
ahead.
first Dragon's Dogma came out, and it was like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like it kind of landed with, because it came out like a few months after Skyrim came out, didn't it? If I have that right, I want to say it did.
I'm not sure, but that sounds right. I'll look it up.
Yeah, no, but
2012.
Okay, so a year
yeah,
after.
which, yeah. But like I just don't remember it being that popular or people really caring about it that much. So yeah, like if it ends up being that good, awesome.
Yeah, I would say though it's a different Capcom, because Capcom around that time was starting to get a lot of shit. Like Resident Evil 6 was kind of a blunder. People were not feeling. Mega Man was kind of in a bad spot, and Capcom's kind of had a renaissance since the RE engine, Devil May Cry 5. So it's a different Capcom. From what I'm seeing, the online discourse for this game has been very positive. I see this on almost everybody's like most anticipated list. I've seen a lot of hype for it. So I don't know. I'm not saying it's gonna be as good as Baldur's Gate 3, because that's probably not. It's probably not going to be, because Baldur's Gate 3 is like one of the greatest games ever made. It's probably my top 10 games of all time now. But I think this game. What I mean is, this game is probably going to be in the top 6 nominations in the Game Awards. I feel confident that it's going to be in the conversation. I don't know. It might just be in the 80s and people have it in their honorable mention or something. But we'll see. But yeah, I see a lot of hype for this game. All right, so Dory, what is your third most anticipated game of the year?
Well, for our third most anticipated game, we're taking a little detour to Hawaii, everybody, because it's Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth. Yeah. That's coming up very shortly, by the way, and I would say about a little over 2 weeks.
Yep.
I am not very late, but I am late to the Like a Dragon series in terms of like Ichiban. I only played it last year, and late last year at that. But I love the turn-based stuff. I love Yakuza. I love Yakuza 0. It's probably one of my favorite action games of all time. It has some of the best written characters of all time, especially Majima. But anyway, I really enjoyed the 2 kind of side games that came out this year. The Man Who Erased His Name, and as well as the Ishin, which were both good games. They didn't blow me away, but they were both pretty good games that I enjoyed. I love Ichiban, and I love his wacky adventures. I'm not sure I'm going to play that Animal Crossing land, because that's not really for me. But you do get to play basically Pokemon, and that's pretty fucking rad. I'm just really excited to explore more of this plot. I love Kiryu, of course, as a character. I love a lot of the characters that were in Like a Dragon are coming back, so that's really exciting. The only thing I really need from this game is just the kind of, fast travel to be slightly improved, which it was in Ishin, or not Ishin. Ishin was pretty good too, but the Man Who Erased His Name had the best fast travel in any Yakuza game I've seen, which is just it made all the cabs immediately open, and you could just go wherever you wanted, within reason, of course. What were we gonna say, Mitch?
Sorry, no, I thought you were going to say that. Like, isn't it always just like the same cab system? Like, I'm not sure how much they can.
I think it's like a parakeet, or is that is it a parakeet? What is it called? Anyway, I forget what it's called in ancient feudal Japan. So I'm really excited for. I'm really excited for this game. It's going to have a lot of like zaniness and just fun. I'm not sure if I'm day one. This is where my list starts to become, I'm like unsure about day one purchase. It's $60. I think they said that basically the Man Who Erased His Name was like their business card. And I was like, okay, I feel like that's giving me a slightly used business card and then asking me to invest in a Cadillac or something. But still, I am very excited. I will be paying attention to reviews. Even if it gets 8s and 9s mostly, I'll probably buy it. But if it gets 7s and 8s, I might wait. Especially because this is supposed to be a huge game. This is Hawaii's like twice the size of Kamurocho.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So and Kamurocho
which is funny because they're not even that big. They're not even that big, relatively speaking. It's just the fact that there's just so much packed in there.
Yes, it's very densely packed, and I love that kind of game. Overstuffed overworlds that are so expansive and just too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if anybody else has this on their list or honorable mentions, but that's my thoughts.
Mitch, is it yours?
No, like again, Yakuza is like one of those game series for me that I know is going to be good, but I think purely just because of how like sort of big they are in terms of their story and runtime, they're like a game that I have to really just like want to play and get invested into. And oftentimes when those games are coming out, there's other games that come out around it that just take up all my attention and time. Like I think when The Man with No Name came out, like that was around the same time we had like Spider-Man and Alan Wake 2 coming out, so like they had all of my focus for the end of the year. And it's like I was never going to touch The Man the Man Who Erased His Name at launch. And like it'll be the same thing for Infinite Wealth. That
I mean, it's a mid-quell anyway. Like I don't mean like it's mid as in it's mediocre. I mean it's like literally like between Yakuza 6 and Like a Dragon. So if you know what happens in Like a Dragon and Yakuza 6, you can kind of fill in the blanks for yourself. I don't think the story does anything particularly. Honestly, my biggest criticism of Yakuza, The Man Who Erased His Name, Like a Dragon, The Man Who Erased His Name, gotta love Japan, is that it really feels like the whole game is just made so they could have had an excuse to build a whole fucking ship and then have you fight people in a Coliseum, because that felt like 50% of the game right there. But anyway, I digress. I joined Mitch in being excited for Yakuza, but yeah, the time commitment is definitely there.
Yeah, it's not in my top 5. Again, I knew you were going to pick that, so I wanted it as my honorable mentions.
Like a book.
I like a book. It is my honorable mention. I'm excited about it. I'm not getting it day one. It's a game I can wait for on sale. But I am very excited about it. It looks like it's going to be Kiru's final game, or I feel like they're wrapping up. They're taking
he's got the big C.
They're taking a
he's got the big C. Do you know? Did you know about that? The big C.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he said the big C, and I'm like, what's that supposed to mean?
No, big C as in cancer. He's got cancer.
Yeah. And
shit,
we're in a new era of Yakuza. It seems like they're going in, like after this. I don't know what they're gonna do. I guess Ichiban's gonna be the main character for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean Ichiban is very popular, and Like a Dragon was very popular. So I don't think they really. I feel callous saying this, but I don't feel like they really need Kiryu as much as they used to. So.
Yeah, I mean, his story was wrapped up in Yakuza 6. So the fact that they even got any story out of Like a Dragon and a Gaiden. So,
and Like a Dragon is really just a cameo anyway. I mean, he's there, but he's there for like 3 scenes in a fight, Yeah,
but even that, they're building things up, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
But basically, his story ended in 6. Really.
Yes.
But I am. That is definitely a game I will have beat by the time we do our top 10 video for sure.
Yes,
but I'm not getting it day one.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, Mitch, what is your second most anticipated game?
Yeah, so it's funny. I think when I was typing it into my Google Doc earlier, the autocorrect kind of took over halfway through. So my second most anticipated game of the year is somewhat trepidatiously, but also somewhat cautiously optimistically, is Suicide Squad Kill the Jesus Leaks, as it's been auto-corrected to.
Kill the Jesus Leak. Kill all those Jesuses. Oh my god.
So, I'll save my impressions of the alpha for next week, since the NDA is finally just lifted. But obviously, over the past week, all the press and a bunch of other YouTubers got to kind of release their impressions of the game. Big publishers have it as mixed to negative, which initially when I played it, I'd agree with, like, at a surface level. Other people though, like some of the smaller content creators, obviously are a bit more enthused about it, and I'm basically just middle of the line at the moment. As I said, I'm cautiously optimistic. Um, I've been doing a bit of reading over the past few days, and I've figured out that over the past year, like, when they delayed it from May of last year to now February of this year, the devs, instead of just polishing up on bugs and glitches and whatnot, like that, I think most of us kind of assumed that they were doing. They've actually just been working on removing things like gear score and enemy levels and stuff from the game, and basically streamlining the looter shooter elements and RPG elements and scaling them back slightly. Like, it's still very much a looter shooter RPG game. Don't Definitely still is. Like, don't get me wrong, but apparently they've taken out enemy levels. They basically changed the loot system, so like, like if you do get different rarities or different sort of types of weapons, it's still functionally the same weapon that you can use. It's just mainly just like the perks and like little abilities that are re-rolled, depending on what level or rarity they are, which I don't really know what that fully means. I'll kind of have to see how that plays out. But yeah, like, I think above all, biggest thing I got from not only just seeing the game but also playing the game is that it. How do I say this in the best way possible? It feels like they took a lot of the shared criticisms and flaws, or like, glaring flaws of that first Marvel's Avengers game, and has like basically just listened to all that feedback and improved upon it. Like, for once, it's actually just a fully seamless open world. Like, you don't have to constantly go back to this main hub area to select a mission and then, like, be cramped into this little big open space. Traversal is actually a highlight of the game. It's basically think Sunset Overdrive, but with DC characters and jetpacks and sort of boomerangs and stuff. Like, it's once you kind of get the hang of it, because there is a bit of a learning curve, surprisingly enough, with the traversal, but once you get the hang of it, it's a lot of fun. Story also seems to have a surprising amount of the focus. Like, the first 2 hours of the game are basically just like a linear story-based affair. It's surprisingly like very cutscene heavy, but I'm interested to see how it plays out. I don't expect it to be a smashing success because, as the internet does and goes, they've pretty much already made up their mind about this game, and once the internet's made up its mind about something, it very rarely changes its mind. But I remain slightly more optimistic that Rocksteady seem to at least, like, there's a veneer of like care and actual effort being put into this game that like you couldn't see with like Marvel's Avengers and other like live service games that felt very corporate and hollow. Like, there seems to be a lot of care and attention to detail being put into this, so I'm hopeful. And I only have to wait a couple more weeks, or a few more weeks to play it. So I guess we can rip the band-aid off a bit quicker.
Yeah, I mean, all I have to say about this is IGN never releases negative previews, and they did this time about Suicide Squad, and I saw that Flash fight, and that sounded fucking monotonous. And then people online try to dunk on IGN, being like, "Oh, it's hard to hit the Flash. Who would have thought?" It's like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but it sounds monotonous and frustrating as fuck. Like, obviously, it makes sense, but it doesn't sound fun.
And that's the thing. It's like I half agree with IGN, half agree with the internet. Like, obviously, to an extent, you want the Flash to be fast. Like, it'd kind of be stupid if he wasn't, to at least semi hard to keep up with. But it's like I kind of agreed with what they said as well in the preview, that like, sometimes combat felt a bit floaty, and like it I don't like from what I played. I don't know if it's just a matter of me not getting far enough into it to like properly spec into certain abilities and get used to all the characters. But like it felt, it's like with the Arkham combat, you could literally just like pick up a controller and then instantly know what you're doing and like instantly rack up like a decently high combo and like feel like super powerful. And, like like I feel cool. It's just not the same in Suicide Squad, at least like from the get go, if that makes sense.
I mean, I have heard the story is the better part of the game as opposed to the gameplay. The UI also looked atrocious.
It was pretty horrible. It was pretty horrible.
I'm not trying to shit on the game. I love James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Like, I want this game to be cool. I don't know what the fuck happened to Rocksteady to convince them to leave the Arkham series. I know that they wrapped it up with Arkham Knight and they did like 4 games in the series, but I feel like there's still more we could have done. Although Kevin Conroy, so I don't know.
This is canonically, this takes place after Arkham
Knight.
Right.
So yeah,
and surprisingly enough, it's like there's like an entire level in this museum area where it basically just recaps the entire events of like Arkham Asylum or Arkham Origins through the Asylum.
Hey, are you 12? Did you not grow up with Arkham City in your life? Well, here you go, you fucking noob.
And it, like it even like it kind of like addresses like what happened, because like it basically addresses that this takes place I think 5 years after Arkham Knight, and it's just kind of like, oh yeah, everyone knows who Batman is, but Batman's still alive, and he's in the Justice League now, so like they don't really address it, the like whole, oh, Batman's alive, we thought he died. It's just like, yeah, no, he blew himself up, but like actually he's just alive, he's fine, no biggie.
That spectral Azrael that came out at him for the after the secret ending didn't mean anything, by the way. Yeah. Never
well, I mean, like we know in a trailer that like it, he's still using it like at least for his boss fight, but like what that means, who knows? You do get a surprise that like Kevin Conroy is like what's the best example of it? You know how in Arkham Knight, like you constantly had the Arkham Knight like on the radio chatter, like telling enemies what to do and like shitting on them. That's basically what Kevin Conroy's doing in this game. So it's like,
well, we'll see how it goes. I hope
he's used a lot, but yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I'm cautiously optimistic. Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy.
The coolest thing I can say about this game, besides Kevin Conroy, obviously, is that I believe Samoa Joe is in it. He's the AEW
King Shark.
Yes, he's King Shark. And Samoa Joe is the current AEW World Champion. So that's pretty rad. And they're gonna have like a tie-in thing on one AEW show because they're gonna be promoting Suicide.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
because I'm happy to report then that King Shark's probably the best character to play as well.
Yeah.
So
I mean, King Shark is just what if Samoa Joe, but he had big teeth and fins. Anyway,
exactly.
I mean, did you have anything to add? We've been going on for a while.
Yeah, we gotta start moving on now. But really quick, it is not on my list. In fact, I don't think this game is gonna do well. I feel like this is gonna be. I feel like this game is gonna be review bombed and disliked. And,
100%.
But I will play it. I will play it when it's like $20 on sale at some point.
Or Game Pass. Is it ever coming to Game Pass?
Or Game Pass. Maybe.
Maybe.
But it'll be on sale. It's gonna be like Gotham Knights, where I feel like for like $20, like 6 months later, it would be like a decent game, and I'll probably like it. I don't know. It might be great. I don't know. But we'll see. So it only comes out. It comes out next month, right? So,
it comes out February 2nd.
Yeah. So we'll know pretty soon.
Like
I mean, that's only 2 weeks. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. So just to recap, so we're on the right spot. So mine was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and then Dragon's Dogma 2, and then Dory did Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and then you did Hades 2, and then you said like a Dragon, and Mitch said Final Fantasy, no, was it Silent Hill 2?
Silent Hill 2.
And then you did Suicide Squad. So that's your second. So we're on your third. Okay. So we're on my third as well. All right. So my third would be Black Myth Wukong, which looks incredible. next big
And
Soul
it's finally coming out this year.
in August, which is crazy. It looks incredible. Every time I see it, it looks just as good as the first time. I thought like when I first saw it, I thought it was gonna be like eye candy. I thought like this just looks too good to be true. It feels like Atomic Heart.
Yeah.
But the gameplay still looks great. It still looks just as good as the first time I saw it. And this game, once again, is one of those games I think it's going to be in the top 6. It has a legit chance of being nominated for the top 6 game of the year. Because it feels like a Sekiro, Elden Ring like kind of game, like that level of quality. Feels like a From Software game. So it's from a Chinese developer. I think they're new. I'm a huge fan of Monkey King and Wukong. There's so much you can do with him. He has a power pole. He can turn into animals. He rides on a cloud.
If he does not yell "power pole extend" at any point in the game,
or Kaioken,
or Kaioken, or Kamehameha.
Yeah. It looks incredible. I'm super hyped for this game. I really hope it lives up to the hype. I'll be disappointed if this game does not do that. But I'm confident from what I'm seeing. I think, at the very worst, I think Souls fans will really like it. It might be like Liza P, where like people really like it, but it gets kind of goes under the radar.
Yeah, for sure.
But we'll see. I know Souls games are not very accessible. I think Elden Ring was probably the most accessible of all of them. But you get games like Liza P that people overlook because it's too hard for them, or so. Yeah, that's my third most anticipated game. I don't think, do you guys have that on your list? I'm sure Dory does.
No.
He doesn't play Souls games, but Mitch.
No,
Okay.
personally not. No.
I wonder if James
Did
would.
we skip Mitch's third, or are we on his now?
I felt like
Because I already did my.
I felt like
mine now.
we're on Mitch's third now. I felt like I said
Yes.
second, but maybe I misspoke last time. But yeah, we're on Mitch's third.
Yeah, I already said my fourth, so Mitch, go ahead and say your third.
Yeah.
That's all right. My third is going to be the Outlast Trials, which technically it's already out in early access on PC, but it comes out for its like big 1.0 release, I think like early March, and that's when it comes to consoles as well. So like I'll finally be able to play it. I've been an Outlast fan for like forever, and like I know the criticisms of like how it's like hide and seek based, and like that's not everyone's kind of cup of tea when it comes to horror. But Outlast Trials seems to be, again, God help me, like it's another live service-ish type game. But I don't know, like it just seems to be one of those games that it has, it's a consistently good gameplay loop. I like the idea of just being able to, try and level up and like improve at how you do like each kind of level, or like exam, I believe they call them. But like there's a bunch of different modifiers and stuff, and it can be played in co-op obviously, but it can also be done in single player. So like I've seen some really, really good players try to speedrun certain levels that normally you'd think you wouldn't be able to speedrun, but I've seen them speedrun it, and it is just
That's wild.
Yeah,
I was watching,
really well done.
I was watching my friend play it, and it's really fun to watch. So it's
100%.
It's probably like it'd be really fun to play with friends for sure.
Absolutely.
So maybe in the future, it's not on my list, but maybe it's something I would play in the future if people are playing it. I could definitely see myself picking it up again in March. March is so stacked. So
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it looks like a fun game. Are you getting that day one? You feel like, or?
I'll most likely be getting it day one unless like something dramatically changes in the meantime. But yeah, I'm most likely going to be getting it off.
And Dory, is that on your list?
No, I'm not into Outlast games.
Gotcha.
Boo.
I barely survived the opening of Resident Evil 7. I barely survived the opening of Resident Evil 7. Leave me alone. I'm a scaredy cat.
All right, let's move on. We're doing good on time, but let's just move on. Number 4 for me would be Hellblade 2. Is that on anyone else's list?
No, it's not even on my honorable mentions.
Oh, okay. Well, Hellblade 2 should be Xbox's big game this year. I think, from what I'm seeing, it's my kind of game. I love big cinematic games, third-person action adventure games, and I've been blown away by what I'm seeing in terms of like the presentation. I'm just curious about like how many puzzles are gonna be. What's the gameplay gonna be like? The gameplay seemed very similar to the first game, which I thought was fine. The combat was fine. It was solid. It was the puzzles that I didn't really care for. There's just too many of them. And I feel like this game is going for more. I feel like it's gonna go more for the action.
Action.
Cause like this is their next big game, Microsoft's game. So you want to appeal to a more casual fan. Cause people, I'm not sure how many people played the first game and don't realize how puzzle heavy that game was. It was mostly a puzzle game. But
did not care for that.
But the sound design in that game was one of the best I've ever heard. Like that game was absolutely mind blowing, especially with headphones on. Of course, you only play that game with headphones. It like I said, it's Xbox's next big game. It's one of those games they got a PC, like a high end PC for. It should blow me away on ultra settings. Even if this game is kind of average or pretty good but not great, I'll be pretty happy. Just I'll probably enjoy the visuals and big moments.
If after
alone.
Starfield this game isn't amazing, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like first Halo, then Starfield. Not that Starfield was terrible.
Yeah.
But it's like Xbox is not getting the bangers that it wants to. Only PlayStation is. Well, in my opinion. And I'm not a Sony pony.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I only play one on TV.
It won't be a good look if this game doesn't live up to the hype either.
But I expect this game to be good, and it's not on my list or my honorable mentions because like I hate the franchise or I think it, I didn't think the first game sucked. I eventually grew tired of the puzzles. Like Seb says, very puzzle heavy, and it's not. I can handle some puzzles, but the kind of puzzles it was, even using a guide, I got so confused. Kim and I both played it together, and even together with guides, there were points where we got confused and lost, and just eventually I was like, this isn't worth the hassle. Like it's not worth the payoff of excellent dialogue and excellent soundscape, but I was like, the combat's just okay. And
did you beat it,
are infuriating.
Or you dropped it?
I dropped it. I didn't beat it. I think I got a few hours in or so. I don't remember exactly how far I got in, but I definitely got more than a few hours or so in. But I'm hoping for better things, and I'm definitely interested in this game. I don't know that my PC would be able to run it, but I could definitely try. It's coming to Game Pass, yes?
Oh, definitely.
PC?
Day one.
Yeah. So I am at least going to try this, and if I don't like it, then whatever.
It should run on your PC. I mean, if it can run on a Series X and a Series S, I'm sure.
That's fair.
Your computer has like 16 gigs of RAM, so
yeah.
You should be fine. If people are on the fence, maybe you should try. If you haven't played the first game, the game is always like $7, $5 on sale on every platform. So just try it, see if you like it. But yeah, I'm excited for this game. Dory, what is your fourth most anticipated game?
We already talked about it. Silent Hill 2.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Nice.
So that'll be Mitch. What is your fourth most anticipated game?
My fourth is a game that I normally wouldn't. Well, kind of a game that I normally wouldn't go for, but I remember playing the demo of the first game as a kid, and just after looking at some of the gameplay for this game, I'm super excited for it. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2.
Oh wow,
that's in my honorable mention.
I know nothing about Warhammer 40k lore. I know not a single thing. I know there are big hulking dudes called Space Marines. I know there are orcs with like British Cockney accents that constantly go Space Marines. That is all. That is all. And there are probably, all the Warhammer 40k lore nerds in the world are screaming in agony right now at the sound of me saying that. But whatever. I think this game, it just looks fun. Honestly, like it's the same guys who made the World War Z game, which if you've played that, that's like a pretty fun co-op horde Left 4 Dead style shooter, but this one's, it's more linear, it's more story focused. It seems to have taken some elements from like Doom Eternal almost, like when, with how you have to do certain executions or like, attack enemies in certain ways, like get health and resources back. I'm just excited for it, really.
Yeah, it when I first saw it, it gave me Gears of War vibes.
Yes, that's the other thing. Like, it feels like classic Gears of War almost is back.
But also,
Yeah.
I remember the gameplay sticking out in the presentation it was in. I don't remember which conference it was in, but like I remember like seeing a lot of like monsters on the screen. Like there was explosions everywhere. It was very cinematic, and it was like it really drew my interest. So this is definitely a game I will play this year. I don't know if Cheryl will get it day one, but it's definitely like unless it gets like great reviews or something. But it is definitely a game I will play this year. It looks very fun. Like at the very worst, if this game is like mid but it's fun as hell, that's good in my book. I'll be.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need a story and a big thing. If it's a fun game, I'm happy. So.
100%.
All right. Do you have anything more to add before we move on?
Nah, not really. In all honesty, I just think that yeah, it looks good. It looks good.
All right. So we're on our last our top 5 game. My number 5 is Star Wars Outlaws. Now I'm generally not a big Ubisoft fan. Oh, hold on, my phone's ringing. Give me a second.
Oh, Ubisoft is fucking pissed. They're waiting for this moment.
Ubisoft a French way. Like we hear you're talking about that the Outlaws. Yeah.
The Outlaws. How dare you,
German.
Sebastian Cardone? I'm turning Italian, but I'm trying to be French.
French, German, Italian. Why not?
That's right.
Let's just piss everyone off. Why don't we?
It's like in wrestling when like a wrestler awaits like for like in the lore, like it seems like a wrestler is waiting for their name to be called and their entrance music to hit. So that was like in wrestling, and Seb just called out Ubisoft. Ubisoft's like, as soon as he mentions our fucking name, we're going out there. Hit my entrance music. God,
like,
I hope you got all that, Seb.
Sounds like Neil Patrick Harris in that Doctor Who episode where he's just putting on the most like over the top German accent, and it's brilliant. That's
good stuff.
Brilliant.
All right. Anyway,
so clappity.
All of a sudden, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, like glass breaks.
Sorry.
It jumped out at me. I thought like it looked like it played well. The cinematics looked like it ran well. The speeder chasing looks great. It looks like Star Wars 1313 that got canceled. I always wanted like a nice third-person shooter Star Wars game because a lot of third-person Star Wars games tend to be lightsaber based and Jedi based, and you never get like the smuggler bounty hunter side of things. And this game looks like that. It's because it focuses on a smuggler, I believe. I'm super hyped for this game. I think this might be one of the best Star Wars games ever. Has potential. Now, but that said, it wouldn't surprise me if the game disappoints as well. Ubisoft generally makes like 7 out of 10 games. I don't know if this game's going to be like in the 9s or anything, but if this game gets in the 8s and it does really well, I'd be very happy. Star Wars is my favorite. So good.
If it comes to EA Origins or Game Pass or something like that, I'll check it out. I'm not really into giving Ubisoft money, although I guess they've been better in recent years. Not really sure, but even past their own corporate policies and whatnot, I just am not a big fan of most of the games Ubisoft makes. Similar to what Seb just said, I do love Star Wars though, and I love me a good Outlaws, kind of show. I mean, Andor is one of my favorite Star Wars shows of all time. Probably my favorite Star Wars show of all time. Oh, it's so good, Mitch. I order you go see it. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, this looks cool. The trailers make it look good. I'm interested. I'm not familiar with Supermassive's resume. Their name sounds familiar, but I can't remember what they were like, what they got big from. But I know they've done other games, and maybe even games that I like. I don't remember. But the trailers looked good, and I'm excited for it. It's not on any of my lists because again, Ubisoft is publishing it.
You think of Massive, not Supermassive is the Hades developers, I think.
That's right. Supermassive is Hades.
Massive
games.
They've done the Avatar game, and they've done the Division 1 and 2, and
the Division. Okay, that's what I was thinking of.
And And even Just
but
Dance.
so I haven't played any of their shit. But anyway, hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
Avatar game in the division, everybody. Apparently they are making Star Wars games now.
Yeah. Oof. That you just ruined the game for me a little bit. That's how. No. I'm excited. It's Star Wars. I'll play it. They got me. It's Star Wars.
Yeah.
So. Mitch, is this on your list, or did you say?
No. Look, I, funnily enough, I feel like because you guys like, oh, Ubisoft aside, I like Star Wars and it looks cool. I'm not that. Like, I feel like I feel the exact same way that I do for this game that I felt for the Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Like, it's like I enjoy the, source material or the IP and like the movies it's based off of.
Yeah.
But I just, even though this game does look like it's, actually trying to do something, a bit outside of the usual Ubisoft formula, like, with like kind of like the choice and morality type mechanics and whatnot, it's still like not hitting me in that sense where it's like, oh god, yeah, I need to buy this. Like not even kidding. Like, if they pulled out like, Assassin's Creed or like Far Cry 713, I'd probably just like gravitate more towards those games over Outlaws any day of the week, just because at least like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry, they're like junk food. It's like, what you're getting, it's horrible and it's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth afterwards, but like while you're playing it, it's just just a lot of the time just mindless distraction, ticking off check boxes, just that and like I'm not getting that feeling from Outlaws. I have a feeling it'll be good.
That was the most depressing fucking description of playing a video game I've ever heard in my life. God damn. You know what? I may have ruined this game for Seth, but I think you just ruined gaming for me, man.
Yeah, well, I think this is the last episode of the podcast.
I knew Vince would bring us down at the end. First he brings down the viewers, now he brings down the
snap
podcast.
My Steam Deck in half. Like, that's it.
That's right. I'm getting the hammer to my PS5.
Just like
which one of you are gonna like repeat that classic me where the guy just like launches his fist through his monitor? that old SNL clip.
Oh my god.
All right, so we gotta start moving on because I want to get to the next topic by the hour in. So,
you're so mouthy.
Dory, did you say your number 5? I don't think you.
All right, I have not said my number 5, and if you get this, you have completely read me like a book. It's Lost Records, Bloomin' Rage.
Yeah, I would have never got that.
Yes! Fuck you, Seb, for not knowing me well enough, I guess. I don't know. I was like all celebratory, and I was like, where am I even going with this? Lost Records, Bloomin' Rage, looks like Life is Strange. Looks like it'll play like Life is Strange.
Oh, yeah. I know this game,
Yeah. Is made by the same people who did.
I should have known.
Look, I am so fucking confused about Deck 9 and the people who are now making Banishers, what are they called? Don't Nod. I'm like, I get so confused between who did what and who did another Life is Strange game. But this is some of the people behind Life is Strange, at least one of the games. So I'm very excited about
Don't
it.
Nod. They did Life is Strange 2, and they did Tell Me Why.
Okay.
Which is not a Life is Strange game, but very similar.
Tell me, it's a Backstreet Boys song. I know. But anyway, yeah, I mean, this looks really cool. We don't know a lot about it, but we do know it has a lot of like 80s, 90s vibes. These kids grow up in the 90s, and relatable. And they see some kind of mysterious thing happen, and then 20 years later, they all come back together to talk about what happened. I don't know why they waited 20 years, but whatever. The graphics look really great. I bet this gameplay... This is like my vibes pick. Like, what game had the best vibes that I saw from 2023 in terms of like trailers? And this like matched the vibes that I would want from a Life is Strange game. So it looks really cool. I love the title. The characters look really nice. We don't know a lot about it, so I'm just vamping at this point. But it looks cool, and it was one of those games that I put on a list when we saw it in a trailer at the Game Awards. I think it was at the Game Awards. Maybe it was.
It was.
Yes. So, yeah, very excited. It looks cool. Life is Strange.
Definitely,
Ooh. Rage.
definitely a game I'll be playing this year as well. I love those
Yep.
kind of games. I don't know if I'll get it day one. I mean, it depends, but if it's like $30 or something, then yeah, I'll probably get it day one.
Yeah.
All right, so Mitch, what is your number 5?
My number 5. Look, I know up to this point with my list, I've put in a couple, wild cards and a couple, controversial picks that I haven't sounded too hot on. But I think we can all agree that hands down, this is going to win Game of the Year. And it's The Last of Us 2 Remastered, baby! Let's go!
It feels like cheating.
In all honesty, oh, it 100% is. But I also, it was either between that or it's between Destiny 2: The Final Shape. And on my list, I've got like a big question. I've got a big question mark next to it because it's like, do I really want to put that as one of my most anticipated games of 2024? As I said before we started, a lot of this year's unknown, at least in terms of, like, the second half of the year. Like, a lot of the big releases are probably, locked into place. Because I think, as we said a while back, this seems like one of those backlog years. Since 2023 was just absolutely filled to the brim with releases. It was packed. But honestly, Last of Us 2 Remastered, it has that roguelike mode. I know I'm going to be playing it. That is all. Mic drop.
Yeah, I don't have this on my list or my honorable mentions. Look, I'm kind of tired of them releasing stuff. There's also been recent controversies with Neil Druckmann that I will not get into because they are highly political. But I just am kind of fed up with. I'm so torn. The Last of Us 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, and so is The Last of Us 1. But the studio and the guy in charge of it, I'm kind of sick of. And I'm just tired of them re-releasing stuff. At the same time, am I interested in that roguelike? Yes. Do I like that they are bringing in lost levels? Yes. Do I think the $10 price tag is fair? Also, yes. Am I going to buy this? Maybe. I don't know. I just don't know, and that's wild. It's one of my favorite games of all time.
I mean, it's one of those things that, like, you'll probably buy when you're in the mood to play the game again, if that makes sense. Like, it's have something that, like,
I do have these like little bursts of like I want to play it. Like when I was when I was watching The Last of Us with all of you and we were talking about it and stuff like that, I was like, oh, I kind of want to go back to The Last of Us 2, but I was like, man, it's I love that game, but it is so hard. It is so hard.
It's very depressing.
To go back through. It's depressing as fuck.
Yeah, it's not a game that you can just like pick up and play.
It is not.
Like you have to be in the mood.
Unless you're James, you want to take 5,000 pictures. Spend 100 hours.
Sure, but we can't all be like James.
But I'm playing the first game on PC, and I feel like I'm gonna wait for part 2 to come to PC, which feels inevitable.
Yeah,
I would assume. I feel like
it's inevitable.
Yeah, so I'll play it then. So, cause I'm not in the mood to play my PlayStation right now. I've been all PC, so it comes out like next week? Not even. Was it next week?
Very soon.
Yeah, next Friday.
So yeah, I'm not on my list, but I will play it probably. I mean, I'm kind of surprised it's not coming to PC like around this date. Like I feel like this feels like a good time for me. Maybe like in a couple months they'll make a PC announcement or something. Like it feels like it's coming out this year.
The thing that I'm most interested in is the roguelike. If the roguelike is good, maybe I'll pick it up. If it's not, then
From what I can gather from it, it's like a heavily segmented roguelike. Like
it's very quick.
It's like you got 5 levels, and then I think it's like once you beat those 5 levels, you can I did a preview. I checked it out after that. Yeah, but it's so like I'm not expecting it to be like like a full. Like it's basically
a $10 download. Although we did just get Santa Monica's free DLC, so I mean maybe people should be stepping up their game.
And when you die, Hades shows up.
That's right.
honestly, because like if it means that oh god, I mean like
doubt this is even related, but it's like more a sentimental thing, I suppose. Like, if paying $10 for a game means that there's less of a chance of like studios feeling the need to lay their employees off and stuff, I'm more than happy to dip in $10. In all honesty,
I think $10 is a fair price.
Yes, I did. Too.
Oh, it's more than fair.
Yeah, the layoffs
but,
for both those too. Another reason.
I thought the Ghost of Tsushima director's cut for like being like $30 was fair too, because the DLC was like I thought it was worth $20. The DLC.
I as someone who like wasn't like hardcore in love with Ghost of Tsushima, it's like it was definitely something that like I picked up at a much later point in time. But like, and I mean, like, but then again, though, it's like they gave us the Legends like online multiplayer for free as well.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's like you gave us that for free, so it's like okay, well, if I do want to play through the DLC and all that, then yeah, I'm happy to pitch in more money as well.
Yeah.
They just made it so complicated back in the day to go from like the base PS4 version to the director's cut, because you had to get the PS4 to PS5 upgrade, then you had to get the director's cut upgrade, and it was just ugh.
It's even worse than Spider-Man. Then you had to go to the settings and transfer it over from the PS4.
Yeah,
it was like
yeah,
what?
something like that. It was bonkers.
Ghost of Tsushima was actually the very first game we ever talked about on this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true.
And it was also one of the games that we tried to do a spoiler cast on, but we weren't able to because James was taking so many damn photos
I do remember that. Yep.
All
right,
I
so
forgot about that. That's why we never did a spoiler cast. Fucking James.
All right, so we gotta start moving on. Really quick, I just want to save my rest of my games. I'm not gonna go into impressions. I just want to say the games. If you guys want to do the same,
yeah, I'll do the same.
We already said Hades 2, Metaphor, Fantasio. That's the that new
game, the
Persona-like game. It's coming to Game Pass. Visions of Mana, definitely excited for that. I really enjoyed the Mana series that was revealed at the Game Awards. Avowed is Obsidian's next big game. I'm excited for that.
That's right. Yep.
That's coming to Game Pass as well. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which we talked about. Persona 3 Reload, which is also coming to Game Pass. I'm really excited for that. Alone in the Dark, I am somewhat cautiously optimistic about it because it's the granddaddy of all survival horror. It comes out in March, so March is just stacked this year so far. No Rest for the Wicked. I don't know if it's coming out this year. It's from the people that made Ori. But it seems like it's coming out this year, so that if that game comes out, it's probably gonna be my top. I feel like it's gonna be my top 10 game of the year. So we'll see. And then finally, which we talked about already, Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. So
it's
40,000 Space Marine 2. So Dory, what is your list before we move on?
Running through real quick. Banishers, Ghost of Eden. You get to fight ghosts. There's multiple protagonists.
Also
Don't Nod.
Yeah,
looks cool. The 1,000-Year Door. Never played it. Interested in playing it. I'm going to probably play it. Nintendo does their own thing. Turnip Boy robs a bank. Okay, so he already avoided his taxes, so he's already on my favorite turnips of all time because I don't like turnips. Now he's robbing a bank. Extra awesome. I know I'm supposed to say based or whatever, but I'm not that cool. So I'm very excited. I guess it's turning more roguelike, but I'm not sure. But anyway, Turnip Boy robs a bank, and it's going to be on Game Pass, so I'm going to go play it. Hashtag Blood. This is that Cartoon Network-ass looking game that you can, like, kill zombies and shit like that. It looks like it's straight out of Billy and Mandy. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, that is. Go look it up. The trailers look awesome. 33 Immortals. Not usually my thing, but it's a roguelike, and you can play with 32 other people. I thought it looked cool. I love the animation. Hyper Light Breaker. Again, not really my thing normally, but it looks really cool. I love the animation. And it's another roguelike. Replaced. Replaced has been on my Steam wish list forever. I don't actually remember a lot about this fucking game, but it was shown at the Xbox showcase that we all went gaga over a couple of years ago, and then we haven't heard anything about it. But it's supposedly coming out this year, and it's all about robots replacing humans. Thankfully, that'll never happen, and SAG-AFTRA would never do anything with AI towards voice actors. Anyway, I digress. And the last one is The Plucky Squire, which is a cool 3D, 2D cartoon animated game. Shit, vamping. Looks really cool, and I liked what I saw. Thank you.
Mitch?
Did you say vaping or vamping?
I said vamping. I'm not vaping.
Okay.
Although we get
Okay.
it. We get it. I vamp.
Yeah, wow. I really, my list is barren compared to yours. Ugh.
I really
I
look scraping the bottom of the barrel stuff. Like not like these games are bad. Just like I was really like looking for like, okay, what am I kind of interested in? What am I kind of hopeful for? So,
Yeah, I
I've added those
haven't
numbers.
even gone that far into it. Look, I've got Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown on there.
I should have
haven't played the
mentioned
demo
that as
yet.
well.
I've had good things about the game. It's coming out like what, in just a few days' time.
That's in my list too. I
def-
forgot to mention that.
Yeah, definitely one of those games that, like, you know, I'll probably be looking into on a deep discount just because Metroidvania is. I'm not great at them. I tend to get lost and confused very easily.
Yeah.
Especially with, like, you know, 2D kind of layout for games.
Yeah.
Other one, again, Destiny 2, The Final Shape, I had that as a maybe. Witch Queen campaign I really liked. Lightfall was pretty mid, so, like, if the reviews and what people are saying about this game are like, oh my god, it's the best thing since sliced bread, maybe I'll go pick it up. Maybe. Probably not, though. Yeah, last one, I can almost guarantee that you guys probably had no idea this was even a thing. I don't even know what it's going to be like, but there is an untitled movie tie-in game for Team NT Mutant Mayhem coming out this year.
I did know about
apparently.
this. Yes. But I only
Yes.
knew about this because I looked at various websites about. I didn't just look at Game Informer, other than my main informant about this. But yes, I did know, but I didn't put it on my list.
Yes.
Obviously.
There.
No. I mean, like, they haven't shown anything off about it, just
Yes.
other than, like, I think one image or render. But yeah, other than that, yeah.
There was some games I left off because I wasn't sure if they're coming out this year or not. Like the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. I'm not sure if that's coming out this year.
Yes.
People say it. The
Yeah,
rumor
I
is
thought
that
about
it is.
too. Yeah.
What else? I just had it. But yeah, so that was one of them. What was? Damn, why I can't find it now. Really quick. Wolf Among Us 2. I was gonna put that on my list, but I'm not sure it's coming out this year.
I'm not sure it's coming out this year, and also Telltale is
That's
not the
kind of
same
just in
Telltale.
limbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in limbo, and Telltale is not the same company they used to be, so I'm very unsure about that game.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
to
do
be
love
fair,
Wolf
that's
Among
probably
Us.
for the.
Same.
To be fair, that's probably for the best.
And I
That's
also,
true.
in
That's
some
fair.
ways. So
Yeah, in some ways, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
and I'm very excited for Little Nightmares 3. Like I love Little Nightmares. That comes out this year, hopefully. And I'll probably play Luigi's Mansion too, but around Halloween, not when it comes out in the summer. All
yeah.
right, so
Yeah.
let's get to our predictions now. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of predictions. I'm gonna ask questions and you guys are gonna answer. Not all of them are gonna require a discussion. Some can be rapid fire. So it feels like it's gonna be a super long topic, but it won't be. We hit on some of them already. So I'll just repeat it just to clarify. So I have 34 predictions for this year. Some are specific, some are not. And I try to hit on every platform as much as I could. So let's start. Number one would be, what do you think are the early favorites for game of the year? Like, what do you think is like almost like you're almost confident that it's probably going to be in the top 6 nominees? Like you feel like early, like I know it's very early, but like what do you think has a shot?
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
I
like,
would say
if that's not going to
Oh, yeah.
win Game of the Year, yeah, it's going to be in there regardless.
Yeah.
I would say Rebirth as well. Are we just saying what we think is going to win, or what we think is going to be in contention?
In contention. Like in the
In
top
contention.
6. Yeah.
I would say Rebirth, Infinite Wealth, maybe Dragon's Dogma.
Tekken 8, maybe.
Tekken 8,
I'm
maybe.
not sure how. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Shit. Just so they throw the fighting game. Oh, if it ends up being good as people are saying, then Wukong maybe.
Yep. I agree with everything you're saying. I also.
Mario versus Donkey Kong on the Switch. No, I'm kidding. Shit. What else is coming out?
I think there's some games coming out which we'll talk about soon that hasn't been announced yet that will be in
Yes.
the top 6. I could see.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, those are like 4 solid picks. I'm not sure what it would be in the other 2 though.
Yeah.
I think that was 4.
I
Is
think
that
it's
4. I have trouble counting.
Yeah, I think it's too early to fully make that prediction yet. But I just want to see what you guys say. What are the early picks in January?
Yeah,
It might be
those
totally
are
different.
some of my early picks. I agree with Mitch on his early picks too.
I agree with your guys' list. All right,
Yeah.
what will be? Oh, we already hit on this kind of, but what will be like? What do you think will be like a very underrated game? Like no one's gonna play, but like it's gonna be very good. I think Dory probably has a lot of them already, but
Yeah.
like something that's gonna be very
Yeah.
underrated. Like just pick any game.
I mean, look, I know next to nothing about it, but potentially Helldivers too. Like I can see that as being a like maybe just like a what's the word? Like silent achiever.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
As a
also,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just having a look at a list now on my screen. South Park Snow Day. Like I haven't seen, like I've barely seen any footage for it again, but like I have a feeling that it could be like just one of those like sort of licensed multiplayer games that like gets like a nice little community and fan base around it.
Also comes out in March.
Lots of stuff coming out in March.
Yeah. In terms of underrated, shit, I don't know. Maybe Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. It looks high quality enough that the people who are going to be into it and like a Donut game are going to like it, but it's not going to get enough attention to be given its proper due. I think it looks really cool and really interesting, and I like Don't Nod and a good amount of what they do. But at the same time, I can see people kind of passing over it and not giving it its due. And I'm sticking with games we know for a fact are coming out this year, by the way. I think that could be underrated.
Yeah, I think like a game like Plucky Squire is gonna be like I can see it being in the 9s, but like people just sleep on it because it's just very quirky indie game. I think I can see people sleeping on the Persona 3 Reload or the Metaphor game. I could see people sleeping on No Rest for the Wicked if it comes out this year. And I can see people sleeping on Black Myth Wukong if it ends up being like Lies of P, where it kind of goes underappreciated because it's a hard Souls game, and it's not as like accessible and casual as Elden Ring was. But we'll see. All right, so we kind of hit on this already a little bit, but what game do you think is most likely to disappoint? Like with the hype, I don't like with the hype. I mean,
yeah,
Suicide Squad is the easy answer, I think. But is there any other game?
Yeah.
Is there another game that like has a lot of hype, but it's probably gonna disappoint, or could disappoint?
Ooh, man.
I don't know why, but potentially Metal Gear Solid Delta, maybe.
No, I can
Maybe.
see that, actually.
Yeah.
I could see Dragon's Dogma 2 not living up to the hype. Potentially.
I was thinking about that, but I didn't. Yeah, I mean, because I'm having a look at.
And I think Hellblade 2 might not live up to the hype. I think it might be another Starfield. I'm not saying it's good. I feel like if Hellblade 2 is like an 8, which is great, I think people are gonna view it as a disappointment.
So like might be like a similar thing to what not Hellblade 2 A Plague Tale 2, where it's like it was following up like the first game that was widely beloved, but then it came out and it was like, yeah, it's good, but it's it doesn't break the mold in any way like we were expecting it to.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn on this. I feel like it could be Hellblade 2 or Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. I guess an easy answer could be Star Wars Outlaws 2, as Star Wars Outlaws as well.
I think that has potential to disappoint as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is a Ubisoft game, so it's not like
Yeah,
if it's
that's
a
what I'm
7,
saying.
I won't be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Even the Suicide Squad, like I guess it's an easy answer, but at the same time, like I don't expect it to be great. So like I can't say I'm disappointed. Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah,
it's a disappointment in comparison that Rocksteady used to be one of the greatest developers, and we've had to wait
definitely
9 years to get a new game.
Yeah,
and it ends up being a games as a service game that ends up being terrible or average, kind of a bad look. But
yeah.
We'll hope for the best. All right. So most of the rest of the questions are going to be like rapid fire now. Those are like those were the earlier ones were the big discussion based ones. So really quicker. Will we get official gameplay of Wolverine this year? Like official, not leaked gameplay, but a trailer of gameplay.
No.
Late
I have
year
a
at
feeling.
best. I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna say late year at best. Somebody write that
Will
down.
we,
Late
will,
year.
will we get a trailer at least?
Oh, trailer most likely.
Yes, gameplay.
But
Late year at best.
No, I have a feeling that because like they were like extremely cagey even with like Spider-Man 2 gameplay. Like we only got it like
That's true.
a few months before the game came out, despite having it announced years ahead of time. And especially with the leaks, I have a feeling that if anything, Insomniac
They're gonna be more
are gonna
conservative.
wanna keep things. Yeah, they're gonna want to keep things close to their chest, at least similarly to how they were with Spider-Man 2, and like it's like they're gonna want to make sure that when they do have something to show off, it's gonna be like not near finished, but like as close to the final product as they can guarantee.
I'm gonna say no.
Is
I
that-
feel like we're gonna get a state of play, and then we'll get gameplay and stuff.
Yeah, but not this year. Like I
Not
have a
this
feel
year,
like I'd be oh shit, yeah, I just realized it's technically coming out next year now. I still thought it was like 2 years away.
It should be.
Even
It should be
then,
next year.
I still don't think it's gonna be this year. Definitely, like most likely a trailer, yeah, but not gameplay.
Yeah. All right.
Unless you count trailer with gameplay, but yeah.
Yep. All right. So, will Hellblade 2 come out in the first half of this year, or
Maybe. I think like June, July at the earliest.
Dory?
No, I don't. They've shown so many fucking trailers for it. I'm gonna say
Have
yes. Yeah, they have. Oh, I feel like they have. I don't know. I've seen too much of this game, honestly, and maybe that's just my apathy towards.
We're gonna
the
see
game.
more because the Xbox show coming up. So you imagine they're gonna show you more.
yeah.
Hell.
We'll probably get a release. We'll probably get a release date there. I would imagine if it's coming out this year. They say 2024. I'm with Mitch. I think it's a summer game. I just feel like it's a summer game.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I'm gonna just be contrarian and try to be bold. We should also denote what predictions we make, just so we can see how hilariously right and wrong we are.
All right. So this one, will we get a trailer for Outer Worlds 2 this year?
Fuck
Yeah.
the trailer. We're getting the goddamn game at this point. What the hell are we doing, Obsidian? Give me. Oh, I don't care about Avowed.
Avowed.
God damn.
I'll be.
Ugh.
It's not coming out this year. It's like
not
3
coming
years
out this
away.
year.
But will we get like
No.
another game? Like just a reminder.
Yes,
trailer?
I think we're gonna get something. They've been so quiet about this game, and I don't know why. Is it because of Starfield? Do you guys think Starfield
Probably.
affected it?
I mean, like they probably.
I just think it's far
in
away.
the sense that they probably just wanted to wait. Like it was probably still going to be this. It was always going to be this far away. And honestly, I feel like Obsidian knows what they're doing enough to not be intimidated by Bethesda or Starfield.
They
if
shouldn't
that
be.
makes sense. No, but like
To be
I feel
honest.
like yeah, like I definitely don't think they were like, oh no, Bethesda's come out with Starfield, let's batten down the hatches and do this and that in response to it. Like they always knew what they were going to be doing. I think the only thing that changed is that like, they kind of wanted to let Starfield have its time in the sun and then basically be as far removed as possible from that game so they could lessen that kind of competition and the constant comparison.
I'm not sure.
Like I always think it was going to be this far away, but I
Yeah.
don't think it was and it intentionally. Oh, let's push the game back even further because of Starfield doing this and that.
Yeah, I'm not sure it has anything to do with Starfield. I just think they don't want to overshadow Avowed because that's their next big game.
Oh yeah, you're probably right.
Because Avowed comes out this year.
So, okay. I thought, Avowed. Well,
I
Yeah,
haven't
Battle
been
Worlds
impressed
was
by
coming
Avowed.
first.
I don't know. All the stuff I've seen, I have not been. super
the
impressed
the
by.
animation and cuts, like the graphics, don't look up great, but it's Obsidian. The writing is gonna be incredible. Obsidian always
Yeah,
does
true.
incredible writing. So.
It's Game Pass too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
an
So
exclusive, yeah.
I will give it a shot. It's Obsidian. I love Obsidian.
Yeah, Obsidian made the best New Vegas. I mean, they did the best Fallout game, so New Vegas.
The best New Vegas.
Yeah,
They
the
did
be-
make the best New Vegas.
Yeah, the best Fallout game, which is New Vegas, and Outer Worlds is also the best Fallout game.
Yes, I would say. I would also say. I don't think this is a hot take. I would say Outer Worlds clears Starfield for me personally.
Yeah, I don't think that's a hot take. I think I think
Okay.
Outer Worlds is much better.
I didn't think so either, but I wanted to just lay
Yeah.
it down and see what the temperature was.
So let's move on. Will Indiana Jones come out this year? The new Indiana Jones game, which is also gonna be on Game
Yeah.
Pass.
I have a feeling it'll be like a late year, like October to December release. Like I have a feeling it'll, ironically enough, it'll probably be competing against Star Wars Outlaws, like Lucasfilm against Lucasfilm.
I agree.
Yeah.
I was also going to say that it's going to be probably late year.
Nice. Will Gear 6 be revealed this year?
Oh,
Gears of War 6.
God, please. I'm not even predicting yes or no. I'm just like begging and pleading, please.
I don't know. I played Gears 5. I don't know how excited I am for Gears 6 if they keep going in this direction.
I think it's time.
Yeah, sorry, you go.
It's been 3 years since we got anything.
I think it's time too.
It feels like it's been like 5 years.
No, it's been longer. It's been
Oh.
it's been 5 years since Gears 5, but it's been 3 years
That's
since we
right,
got any
that's right.
like anyone talking about it. Like I feel like they've just been
That's right, yeah.
dead silent. So I feel like it's time
Yeah.
now, and I feel like Gear 6 is
Yes.
gonna come out next year.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the
I'd
I feel like it's
agree
the
with that.
finale as well. I feel like it's gonna be the final Gears game for quite a while. But we might not see
Which-
Gears of War for like 10 years after that.
Honestly.
Because there's nothing more. There's
Oh.
nothing more you can do. I mean, Marcus is old. Kate's story's wrapping up. I don't know what more you can do.
I mean, like you're not wrong, but at the same time, it's like I sincerely doubt that at this point in time, Microsoft are gonna want to like put one of their like major, like it'd be like if they put Halo to rest for a decade,
sure.
Like, obviously Halo's just that little bit bigger and has that more resonance with the Xbox brand, but like it's one of their like
I know what you're saying. It's
Gears
their
of War
marquee.
is like one of those like
Yeah.
IPs that like are gonna draw people to the Xbox console or at least to buy it even on PC. You know? So
yeah.
like
But even God of War was
Uh,
was on ice for like 5 years, I think, right? Between
it,
Ascension.
well, yeah, it was, but
and-
like sort of 5 years is a whole lot different
than 10 years.
Yeah,
I think.
and even
yeah.
then, it's like we had the reveal 3 years after Ascension.
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah,
relatively speaking, it's not that big of a gap, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm curious if they would do a new IP after Gears 6 or I
Like,
know
isn't the Coalition?
yeah, the Coalition. I think like we might get like another Gears Tactics game or something like that. But I feel like as a mainline
I have-
Gears game, I think 6 is going to be they're going to put it on ice for a little bit.
Yeah, or yeah, if not like another mainline game, like
Unless-
definitely a spin-off. I feel like.
And unless 6 has a whole new story that builds up to something, then yeah, then maybe the next one next one is gonna be like
Yeah.
Ragnarok and it comes out like 3 years later or something. But we'll see.
Well, because I mean, the thing is, like, with the way just IPs in general seem to be going nowadays, I have a feeling like Gears, like, they're gonna kind of use Gears 6 as, like, they're, like, in marketing speak, like, the springboard for the next, like, decade or two of, like, Gears of War content, so, like, they're gonna tease a bunch of
And they've got new
spin-offs and,
people
like,
to take it over now. They've got new characters to take it over now. I mean,
But even
it's
it's wrapping
like-
up with them now too, though.
oh yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
I'm-
Forgot about that.
I'm not even just I'm not even talking about, like, with Cade and,
JD.
Cade.
Yeah, I mean they could
JD.
do 3 sets of trilogies. I mean, it worked for Star Wars, right? Nothing went wrong there. So I mean, I feel like that's just the perfect blueprint.
I don't
to
know
do.
what more you could do. You bring back the Locust. You do like another set of Locust. Like they're not called the Locust, but they're basically the Locust.
that's-
It's like
They're called
that's the
wasps,
thing, like-
and they go to church every Sunday.
wow.
That's
Sorry.
the thing. Like I have a feeling, if anything, we're probably gonna get like after Gear 6, we're gonna get games that are set like in the past, so to speak. Like so they're gonna bring back the Locust, and they're just gonna capitalize on nostalgia of the original.
Or they
Gears
pull a
games.
Horizon and we're gonna go in space.
Oh god.
Wait, guys, wait. The only place free from capitalism,
Space!
space.
All right. So on that note, we gotta move on. Will Foam Stars be successful for PlayStation?
Fuck no.
Because
No.
the people that have played it have really enjoyed it, or the impressions of like the media has been actually positive for this game, but
I mean,
I've seen mixed reactions from gamers.
I don't mean to hate on journalists, but like journalists like have shown in recent years that like they can be pretty hit or miss when it comes to, like, having the pulse on like sort of like multiplayer games and like sort of trends, especially. Like, you know, they've like given they've given positive reviews to games like what was that dodgeball one?
Knockout City.
Knockout City.
I love Knockout City.
Games of that type, where it's like, you know, they say it's like, oh,
Knockout
you know,
City
they give
fun.
they give good early impressions, but like, you know, and it's like in bite-sized pieces, it's good, but it's just not good enough to.
It's not sustainable.
Really keep people coming.
Yeah.
Exactly, it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
So it's like, and because like all they're looking at is like, you know, like in the moment, like, you know, oh, what are my impressions on this? But like long term, it's, you know, it's like you need to have a good, simple, just way of going about things for people to keep coming back to it.
Yeah. So we already hit on this one basically, but do we think Silent Hill 2 remake comes out this year? Definitely comes out this year.
Yes, definitely coming out this year.
I agree. I think it's definitely coming out this year. Do we think Metal Gear Solid 3 remake comes out this year?
I think it's gonna. I think if anything, it'll be announced for this year, but then pushed back to like early 2025.
Yeah,
that's my prediction.
Yeah,
I agree with Mitch. I don't have a personal stake in it, but yeah, I'll agree. I'll just agree with Mitch. That seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, I think it's 2025 because both games are from Konami, and I think you don't want to overshadow Silent Hill 2 with Metal Gear. I think Metal Gear should have its own year, so I think Metal Gear is next year. All right, will we finally get a new Splinter Cell game revealed by Ubisoft?
No,
I'm holding out hope every year.
No, they don't give a shit.
Every year.
I'm sorry, Seb. They don't give a fuck.
Every year I must do it.
Care.
I must do it. It's like Kingdom Hearts. I must do it every year.
Yeah.
Did they cancel the remake, or
I don't know what they did.
Because they were making a remake.
They just like putting him in every mobile game, multiplayer game. And pissing us all off. All right.
At some point, they're just gonna, you know, like, they're gonna take too long to the point where they're just gonna have to keep Michael Ironside on like cryogenic, I don't know, containment or freezing or whatever, and then just like bring him out every couple of years when they need him to record new lines for Sam Fisher.
Unfortunately, that's what the AI is for.
God, don't.
Ubisoft is shitty enough to do that.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So is Square Enix apparently.
I honestly though, like, I don't think they're gonna be that stupid enough.
No, they won't.
Like if they like use AI to like fully resurrect an actor, like some company's gonna do it. I can guarantee you, some company is gonna have the balls to say, hey, we're gonna fully use AI to bring back this dead actor or whatever for our game, and it is going to backfire on them horribly. And it is going to set a precedent. Like that's.
I knew. By the way, when everybody I'm guilty of this too. When everybody was doing the Mid-Journey stuff, and everybody was like making the cool little pictures and shit, like, and I was guilty too. So I'm, you know, not throwing stones or whatever.
Yeah,
but like
I did that too.
I was like, it feels really fun right now. Back of my head, this is gonna go really bad, isn't it? in like 6 months or so.
I think AI has a future in the sense that, like, if you use it as a tool to assist movies and games, I think that's fine.
AI in medicine is great. I love AI in medicine. Yeah. I don't want AI like fucking replacing dead people and taking writers out of jobs. And
I really liked AI with like the chat, like finding things on like online, and it's really helped and stuff like that. But it's definitely a concern. All right. Now let's talk about Nintendo a little bit now. Will the new Switch come out this year? Like, will the new console come out this year?
Announced?
No, comes out.
Yes.
Comes out.
Will it come out?
Not come out.
I will be dead and buried before the Switch 2 comes out. So I don't believe anything until I hear Nintendo say it. I'm so burnt out on the rumors, the discussions, the speculation. I'm just, I don't know. I'm like fed up with it at this point. When Nintendo literally has a fucking showcase, and at the end they're like, by the way, one more thing, snap, and then Switch 2. Then I'll believe it. But until then, look, and there's good marketing for why they've delayed the Switch 2 for so long. The Switch is selling incredibly. Like, Nintendo doesn't really need to change up their strategy. But I do agree with what last thing. I do agree that they have been doing a lot of remasters and remakes lately, and they've been doing a lot of stuff that doesn't seem to be really dependent on the Switch. So I agree. I think somebody from IGN said this on their Nintendo predictions video. But basically, like, that kind of points to them maybe moving to a new console sooner than later. So I mean, I could see them announce it. Come out, no.
I think Nintendo have got at least another year out of the Switch in its current form. And then, like, yeah, I feel like at the very least minimum this year they announce it, and then going into next year is when they will release it. But as you said, I think like Nintendo still like they're definitely slowing down, but Nintendo still has enough momentum.
It's
like,
either holiday season
going.
this year or holiday season next year, and I say it's holiday season next year.
I mean they released the Switch back in March initially.
Oh shit! Did they? Okay.
I disagree.
All right, Seb, say what you're gonna say.
I disagree. I think it definitely comes out this year. I think it comes out in the holidays.
Okay.
I think it's time. It's been 7 years.
That's usually the life cycle of consoles, right?
Yes.
7 years.
And Tears of the Kingdom's over. The Zelda is going to be on its new era now. It's time for the new next Mario game. Mario Odyssey developers have been quiet since the first game, so I think the new Switch is going to launch this year in the holidays, and I think it's going to launch with the new Mario game, and I think the new Mario game is going to be in the top 6 game of the year. I think that's like one of those.
Wow.
I think we're gonna get another Mario 3D like Odyssey kind of game to launch with it. And I'm curious, what do you guys think the Switch is gonna be called? The new do you think it's gonna be called like Switch 2, or do you think it's gonna be like Super Switch or something like that?
Switch U.
Ugh.
Talking about switching me off.
Some people said Switchblade. Switch.
I think the Super Switch. I don't know. That sounds stupid.
I feel like Switch.
Do we even
stupid.
Super Nintendo Switch?
I mean, like. Well, do we even know that
Switch.
it's gonna be like a proper Switch 2? Because like Nintendo with like all their like new major consoles, they like to have like some new gimmick.
It sounds
or
like
something implemented.
It sounds like they're, from what the rumors say, that they're keeping with the handheld. Because first of all, it's easy to. Yeah, because first of all, it's huge in Japan. Like they prefer mobile and handheld, and also it's easy to develop games. Like have like Nintendo's the best in first party because they have they combine their handheld and their console divisions together, so they always have a steady flow of games. So it only makes sense to keep it the handheld. And some people have guessed that maybe it's going to be like a DS, where it's like 2 screens, but I don't know. I don't.
There was some kind of press
like
release for like Cheat Shark or some shit, and it I don't know how accurate or not, but it was saying the Switch 2 was coming out in November or some shit. I don't know. And I doubt that that's accurate, but it was interesting at least.
And I hope it launches with an OLED screen. I'd be disappointed if they do like a basic LCD screen first and then do an OLED version later. Like I feel like you already did that, so
that kind of sounds like something Nintendo would do, though. No.
What is the Switch's capabilities? Is it PS3 or PS4? Like in terms of graphics?
Definitely not PS4, because it came out it came out during the PS4 era and it was weaker than the PS4.
Okay, so the next one has to be like PS4.
Oh, it's definitely gonna be. It's definitely gonna be like PS4-ish, like maybe like the Steam Deck is.
Yeah. Maybe the Pro.
Yeah.
No, the Steam Deck's I would imagine the Steam Deck. I imagine the Steam Decks might be strong. It's hard to say, right? But
yeah.
The Steam Deck.
What are you trying to say?
You go ahead.
All right, I was I have a feeling that if anything, Nintendo will be doing similar to the Steam Deck. They'll have like the cheaper version with an LCD screen, and then like a more expensive version with an OLED screen. I see them doing that.
I think so too.
That seems like a smart way to divert resources, especially since like looking at the other with the PS5 and the Xbox Series consoles, they've also done like the premium console, the main console, then they've done like a slightly cheaper alternative to it.
Yeah, I mean
that seems to be the trend. So I see Nintendo doing that.
Right. The big question is like the price, and it's like if like the Rogue Ally is stronger than the PS4, but the Rogue Ally is $700. So
Yeah.
Obviously, the Switch is probably going to be anywhere
400?
300 to 400, right? Like,
Yeah.
400, even
Yeah.
400 is expensive for Nintendo. Like that's pushing it.
Yeah.
So if it's 300, it's not going to be as like it's probably going to be weaker than the Steam Deck, but I think it's going to be enough where games can play maybe 40 frames to 60 frames and because
And
they
Nintendo can always
optimize their
brag
games.
about its first party that the Steam Deck won't have. I mean, it's weird that I guess for the first time ever, really, right? Nintendo kind of has competition in the handheld market with the Steam Deck. I mean, I'm not saying Steam Deck's not a serious threat, right? Obviously, Nintendo's gonna
It's its own thing.
outsell
Yeah,
them.
yeah. Nintendo's its
Yeah,
own thing.
but-
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true too.
because the Steam Deck and the Rogue Ally are mobile PCs basically. They're not really they're handhelds, but they're like I get they're not seen as the same. I guess. Yeah, Nintendo has its
Yeah.
exclusive. I think that's what stands out. Steam
Yeah,
Deck's
for sure.
Steam Deck's marketing is like you can play third party hardcore games that like you can play on PS5 and Xbox on the go. That where Nintendo doesn't have that, but Nintendo shines with like Zelda, Mario, Donkey Kong, things like that. So
Yeah.
it's a good question. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's hard to say until we get the specs, but anyway.
I have a feeling that like
Go ahead.
before we move on, I have a feeling if anything like the big advancement with the Switch 2, besides like hardware, obviously, is just gonna be like I'm assuming just better Joy-Cons or like whatever their alternative is. Like I think they're just gonna have more kind of dexterous like sort of Joy-Cons where they've got like proper handles. Like
Yeah.
basically think the PlayStation Portal. Like basically think that. Oh, what else? I just think they're gonna. My prediction is that they're gonna have like a screen or like not a screen, a camera on it as well. So like they're gonna, because they don't already have it, but like on the little tablet, like I reckon they're gonna have a camera on like the backside, so like they can do more AR stuff. Because I don't know, Nintendo seems to be like the only company who likes AR nowadays.
Innovation. Yeah, I guess maybe that's.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't think of that.
Like small little bits and pieces like that, which like aren't massive and like probably only certain enthusiasts are actually going to make use of, and only certain games are going to actually do. But like I have a feeling they're going to do that. Like especially with the camera and AR. Like I feel like they'll find some pretty inventive ways, like with their first party titles, to like implement the camera and stuff.
Yeah, they're probably gonna do the same thing as the Switch. They're just gonna improve on everything. I mean, like even the Steam Deck and and the Rogue Ally have docks, and you plug it into the computer or your monitor or your TV, and does this.
Yes,
basically a high-powered Switch. So and that goes in 2024. So Switch 2 is probably gonna be similar, I'd imagine. Just stronger.
Oh no! I mean,
that's stronger,
I was
weaker,
say something
weaker.
like,
Yeah.
I was gonna say something like, oh, the like they're gonna have a version of the deck that like has speakers in it, so like you can still pair it up to a monitor, but like even if it doesn't have speakers in it, but nah, I don't think they're gonna go for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be around the level of Steam Deck, I'd guess. Like I feel like that's Rogue Ally is, like I said, more expensive. All right, and it's stronger. Will we see Metroid Prime 4 this year? Like, will it be announced, or I mean, like a trailer or something?
Oh yes, the trailer.
Not coming out.
Yes.
I'll be shocked.
No, not coming out. I want to believe. I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to come out.
Time. It has been like almost a decade.
I mean, they
like.
last we
trailer,
heard of it,
I'm
they
saying.
said they were like in the. Last we heard of it, they said they were still in the polishing stages. No, or was that something else?
No, I think they rebooted the whole thing.
Well, that was like years and years ago, though. Like I feel like I heard something.
It's still Retro
recently that
Studios,
they were.
right?
Yeah, it's still Retro.
Is it still
Studios.
Retro?
They haven't made anything since then.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this has got to be developmental hell at this point, right? I mean, it's got to count.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything since 2020. And that
Trailer. One more thing in a direct. I don't fucking know. Look, I mean, one positive thing I would say about the situation is it took so fucking long for this game to come out. That Metroid Prime, the original, came out, reminded me that I enjoy Metroid Prime games and got me moderately excited for the next one. So there you go. That's how long this game's taken to come out.
Imagine if this game was a launch game. That'd be crazy.
That would be fucking wild. Imagine we got Mario and fucking Samus Aran. That'd be wild.
I mean, we did
That-
when
that'd
the
actually
Switch
be,
came out. We got Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey.
That's true. That's true.
That's
so they
wild.
could
Oh
do
no,
another two.
No?
Mario Odyssey was late 2017. Like still both came out the same year, but Mario Odyssey wasn't a launch title.
You sure?
Mm.
Yeah, it wasn't I'm pretty sure it came out like around the same time as Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Let me confirm.
Same season, but not launch. Maybe.
No, I definitely don't think it was a launch game.
Yeah.
I think you're
Was it-
right.
Yeah.
27th of
'Cause
October.
it came out in October.
Oh, yes.
And
Yeah,
Zelda
yeah.
came out in March, I
Yeah.
think, or April, something like that.
Okay.
'Cause they killed
Zelda-
Horizon.
Yeah, Switch and Zelda was March.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, the Metroid. If they did do that, it'd be Metroid would probably come out. Let's say the Switch 2 does come out this year, it'd be in the holiday season. I'd be shocked if it was anything else. I think because I feel like if it was coming out in the spring, it would have already gotten hype. Like it would have gotten the marketing and everything. So I feel like they're gonna start
Yeah.
marketing it in the summer or the spring for the holiday season. All right, so let's move on to PlayStation ish now. Will we get a new Astrobots game announced? Not this year, but like just like I mean like
Ooh.
not coming out this year, just announced.
I mean, they haven't given us. Have they given us like another Astrobot game for VR2?
No.
Maybe then, maybe. If they do, it'll be a VR game. I don't think we'll get another mainline console game.
Which would be exciting because that
Yeah.
VR game was one of the
I'd
best
love
VR
it.
games ever.
Yeah. Like
I
I'd love them to-
don't think so. I think they honestly see Astrobot as a PlayStation launch exclusive thing to hype up the console at this
Yeah.
point, and I don't think they see it as much more than that. I could be wrong, and I'd be happy to be wrong, but that's how I feel about it.
No, I think Team Asobi
I
is
agree.
not going to dump Astrobots. I think there is an Astrobots game coming out, but I don't think it's going to be this year. I don't think they're going to announce it this year, but I do think they are working on an Astrobots game. But I think it'll be like
Yeah.
next year when they announce it. But we'll see.
Mm.
All right.
I think it'd be interesting if they did make like a full-on $60-$70 Astrobot game though. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I would definitely want a full on regular non VR platformer. Like I feel like Astrobots has become their mascot at this point. They market it all the time with like any device. It's always like on the website. It's always Astrobot.
Yeah.
So I think they're here to stay. So I would not be surprised if we get an Astrobots game next year. I can see them announcing it next year and then it's coming out next year.
Yeah.
So we already hit on this one. The Star Wars Outlaws coming out in 2024.
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Will there be a Bloodborne remaster or new Bloodborne game announced this year? Are we holding out
No.
hope?
No.
No,
I will be.
I don't care. To be clear, I do not care, but no.
Okay. Will
No.
Will Kingdom Hearts 4 get another trailer this year?
Yes. Fuck everybody else. Yeah. No. Yes. I legitimately do think that, and here's why. Missing Link is coming out this year. That's an iOS game. Don't worry about it. Don't even think about it. But it is there, and I think Square Enix is going to use that as an excuse to start hyping up Kingdom Hearts again. It's been like 4 years.
Yes.
5 years.
4 years.
Since
84
Kingdom Hearts
years?
3.
2019.
Since Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's been maybe 4 years since the DLC Remind.
Well, it's
came
5
out.
years now, technically.
Yeah. Well, Remind came out in 2020, I think.
Yeah.
I think so. Anyway.
I think you're right.
Then
Yeah.
I think look that up because I'm not exactly sure. I think it came out in 2020, but I could be wrong. And then the music game came out in 2021, I think.
2020.
But that wasn't.
Yep.
Yeah, 2020,
Or
right?
for
So that
Remind,
wasn't the main team though. I know they have split up into Osaka and Tokyo. Look, I think that the trailer is gonna be here, and it's going to announce Kingdom Hearts 4 next year. Now, I'm not saying early next year, but I am saying next year as a trailer announcement. It's been 5 years since Kingdom Hearts 3. That's generally what it takes for them to make a Kingdom Hearts game. Generally, around that time, they haven't had to rebuild the engine. They know what it's like. I know people love to fucking meme on Kingdom Hearts because 3 took so fucking long, but that's because they literally had to restart from a brand new engine, the Unreal Engine, learn it from top to bottom, and make a game out of it, which is why it took so damn long. Plus, we got all those awesome 1.5, 2.5 remasters, so I don't really get why people complain. People just act like Square Enix was fucking doing nothing that whole time. But anyway, small rant aside, yes, I do believe that we will get an announcement trailer that Kingdom Hearts is coming out sometime next year. It's not going to be early next year, but it's probably going to have to do with with the number 13 somewhere.
I have a feeling that it's gonna be like the big reveal for one of the Jeff Keighley shows, most likely Game Awards. Similar to how he hyped up the trailer for like Elden Ring a couple years back. Like I feel like it's gonna be like that.
I think it would be at a Square Enix conference, the Summer Game Fest.
I would think at the Tokyo Game
or
Show,
Tokyo Game Awards,
Video Game Awards, but yeah, let's see. North America, Kingdom Hearts 1 came out in September.
Kingdom Hearts, the Remind and the Melody Memory, I think it's called. What it's called.
Melody Memory, yeah.
That came out in 2020. Both those came out in 2020.
Okay, so it has been solidly 4 years since they've come out with anything. Now there have been iOS games that have delved into like Xehanort's past and shit like that.
And they are canon.
And they are canon. Of course they're canon. Come on, Seth. It just goes without saying at this fucking point.
I know, just
because everything's fucking canon to Nomura. But
true.
anyway, I love Nomura, but come on. Okay, Kingdom Hearts 2 came out in March, and then the other one. So there's no pattern. I mean, they've all come out in different fucking months. 1, 2, and 3.
Yes, I do think we'll get a trailer, and I think we'll see gameplay because when they first revealed Kingdom Hearts 4, they showed gameplay.
There was a little bit of gameplay. Yes.
So I don't see why they would not show gameplay.
By the way.
Yeah, I don't see why they would not show gameplay. So I'm a little 50-50 on if it's coming out next year, but I think it's time. It would be if it comes out next year, it would be 6 years, which is like plenty of time.
Imagine if they they revealed like this big awesome trailer, like at some point this year, and then like at the end, after the title card, they just had 2028 as the release date.
Same year as
Elder
Elder Scrolls.
Mitch, I'm gonna disconnect you from the chat, and I will see you later.
All right, see you.
Okay, see you. Bye.
Bye.
All right. So,
I do want to say a side note. I really do think this 2024 is going to be the year. I know 2023 was a little disappointing in terms of like big reveals. We did get a few of those. I feel like 2024 is going to be the year we get a lot of good, cool, big reveals, either for games coming out this year or next year.
So the 25 is going to be the big one. You mean?
Yeah.
To be fair, like 2023 was like the payoff year for like all those cool reveals that came in the past.
Yes.
Like this is going to be
in the pandemic and everything else. Yeah,
that too, but like
22 had a lot of.
This is going to be one of those build-up years.
Yeah, because 2022 had a lot of. 2022 had a lot of delays. So I think we're
going to see a lot of cool trailers, a lot of cool announcements. I think Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be one of them. So that's my prediction.
I really, really hope so. All right. Will we get any updates on Little Devil Inside this year?
How do you even remember this game? No,
because I still want to play it. I'm still waiting for PlayStation.
No, they've abandoned this fucking game. I don't know. They've abandoned this game. The last time I saw it, it was a fucking train simulator or some shit. I don't know what happened to this game.
I know. I thought it was coming out 2 years ago. And
I don't know.
It's still not coming out. I'm gonna say.
I thought it already came out.
I'm gonna say yes, and if it doesn't come out this year, then I think it's done. I think it's gonna get canceled or something.
Was it called The Little Devil Inside or whatever?
Yeah, Little Devil Inside.
Yeah.
All right, what is this fucking game?
It was like a platformer, like where you like whack things. Like it was like an action platformer. It had a really cool aesthetic.
Yeah, no, I remember.
Yeah, disappointing. All right, so let's move on. We already talked about Suicide Squad. Like, will it be successful? I think it's gonna get like average reviews, and I think it's gonna get review bombs.
It's gonna get average reviews. It's gonna cultivate a nice little fan base, but it's not gonna be nowhere near successful enough.
Apparently, The Little Devil Inside was originally a Kickstarter game in 2015, and then never came out. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Mitch.
That's.
I think Suicide Squad's gonna sell well. But I don't think it's gonna have. I don't think it's gonna have legs.
Interesting.
I think people are gonna buy it.
It's gonna have fins. Obviously, it's going to have fins.
I don't think it's gonna last like service wise, but I think people are gonna buy it because WB's big game and it's got a lot of.
I don't know. I have no faith in this game. The overwhelming reaction online, like Mitch has pointed out, has been negative, and I really haven't seen anyone hyping this up.
I think casual fans might pick it up because it's
maybe casual people who really like the James Gunn film.
They're not following. They're not following all the press and stuff like.
Sure. To be fair, actually, like I mean, I'm not sure if this is just Twitter being Twitter, but I've if anything, since the alphas come out, I've seen a lot more, or like since the NDA is lifted, I've seen a lot more positive reactions than I was ever expecting. And like to the point where it's like I'm probably, at least like on threads and stuff, I'm probably in the minority of being mixed to negative on it, if that makes sense. Like a lot of people are. So I've like as I said, like I definitely have a good feeling it's going to cultivate a fan base. And like it's definitely, if anything, I don't think it'll be review bombed in that same sense. Like there'll definitely be like, you know, negative reviews, and like there'll be like those same old ignorant comments where it's like, oh, I can't believe they shelved a Superman game for this or whatever, even though they were never making a Superman game. But like for the most part, it's kind of going to be, at least over time, the scales are going to kind of balance out to that negative to positive ratio. Because like casual fans did enjoy this, but I feel like, and that's what I was saying earlier, it's like critics and journalists for the most part didn't have a great time, but like content creators and like individuals did have fun with it. So yeah.
All right.
Like it's not going to be like Gotham Knights where it was just like mediocre all the way around, if that makes sense.
No, I agree with that. I don't think it's going to be as mid as Gotham Knights was. That kind of just tumbled.
No.
What came out, it was like tumbleweeds, and everybody kind of moved on.
Yeah, exactly.
Then it went to Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, like for free. And I think I got a little life from that, but that's pretty much pretty much it.
It's just kind of lived in obscurity ever since.
Yeah. All right. Will there be a Dragon Quest 12 trailer? Well, you guys are not Dragon Quest fans, so you really can't answer that.
No.
Yes,
I don't know. And
I think it's time. It's been several years. I think Square Enix. This is the next one of the big games Square Enix is working on. So I think you will see Kingdom Hearts 4 and Dragon Quest 12.
I will summon the spirit of Kasuga Ichiban, and I will say yes.
Go play Dragon Quest 11 if you haven't. It's really good. Will Skull and Bones be successful? Will it actually
no?
Will it actually be okay?
No. Although
be...
I think Singapore hopes that it will be okay, but I'm not sure about anybody else.
To be fair, I mean Singapore, like what they basically just like they get an investment, or they get it like a return on their investment, like almost like instantaneously, don't they? Like I don't think it's. I can't wait till
this game's a fucking flop, and then the executive of Ubisoft has to like get one of their fingers cut off or some shit.
I think it will.
I mean, I guess their equivalent is just more layoffs, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Mitch. I was trying to make it funny, but now you made it real. Thank you.
I think it would be an okay game. Like I think it'll be like a nice 7 out of 10. I don't think it's gonna be horrendous. I think it's gonna be okay, probably.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably not gonna sell well.
It's probably gonna be an enthusiast game.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like it's not gonna rise to the level of like Sea of Thieves or anything, but it's gonna be an enthusiast game with like a small community of pirate lovers.
Yeah.
Anonymous.
If you
enjoy it, but yeah.
If you talked to me after Black Flag, I would have said I was after like when that game came out, I was really hyped for a Pirates game like this. And when they revealed Skull and Bones for the first time, I was like, oh yeah, I'm really into this.
Same.
And I've just lost all interest now because it's been too long. And yeah. All right.
Yeah. Let's move on.
We still got several more, but we're starting to wrap it up. Will Hollow Knight Silk Song come out this year?
You love comedy, huh? You're a big comedian tonight, huh? No. I just want to say no, just because it's funny. If it doesn't happen this year, it's funny, all right? I'm done being sad about it. It's funny.
I mean, have you played the first game, or you're just
no,
just for the laughs?
I know a lot of the people in the Draft Punks constantly put on their clown makeup while I have my clown makeup for Kingdom Hearts 4.
And I have my clown makeup
and-
for both.
Yes, so double clown, all the way across the sky. Yeah, no, it's not happening.
I think yes, it is happening.
I think it's happening too.
I'm only saying no because
for the
it'll be
laughs.
funny
Yeah.
if it doesn't. Yes, because I'll laugh if it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I do think it comes out this year. I think it'd be a massive disappointment, and it's actually gonna hurt the game if it doesn't come out this year. I think
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the
realistically,
thing,
it probably
like,
comes out
it's-
this year.
I think people are
If
gonna be
it doesn't come out
yeah.
if it doesn't come out this year, it's gonna be like almost like a No Man's Sky type situation where people just start getting fed up more than anything else, and then
Yeah.
like it's just like people kind of like as you said, it just hurts the game more than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I got a couple of PlayStation ones again. Will Sony redeem themselves this year with an awesome PlayStation showcase, or will they? Do you think they're gonna really drop first party like an awesome showcase?
No, because they've just had Spider-Man 2 come out. They're gonna have Last of Us Part 2 Remastered come out. Not that would mean much anyways, but like
Yeah.
it's like it's something. They've just had the God of War DLC come out, like, and obviously with all the Insomniac leaks and whatnot, like we're probably going to be a good. I'd say 2025 is the year where they're ready to actually start bringing stuff out again.
Yeah. You're gonna. I think. The answer is no, because they're internally switching back to single player games, getting away from the service games. I think you're
Yes.
gonna see some of those like Concord and Fair games and things like that this year. But for the most
Yeah.
part, they're gonna be carried heavily by their second and third party deals. I think
Yes.
like Stellar Blade comes out, Rise of Ronin. Those are not first party. Those are all second party. Helldivers, that's second
Yeah.
party. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is third party. That's exclusive to PlayStation. So they're gonna rely on that. So I think PlayStation, like first party wise, is gonna be pretty average.
Pretty silent.
Not that great. Like last year, but I think like third party wise, I was happy with the showcases last year. Like I know people were really
Yeah.
upset. I was.
Yeah.
There was a lot of games I want to play. So as a first party, it was that bad, but as a third party, that was fine. All right. Dory, you have anything to say about that, or?
I'm torn. I want to be optimistic and say yes, but in my heart of hearts, you guys are probably right. But I want to be optimistic about 2024 in terms of showcases.
Yeah, but if this does happen,
yeah.
but if the next prediction happens, then the showcase might have a quality game, which would be, will Naughty Dog announce their next big game, single player game, like whether it's Last of Us Part 3?
Oh yeah, the big RPG in
or
space,
or the new
whatever
or the new
fuck it is.
or the new IP. Yeah.
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 whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, I have a feeling we'll get like a tease.
Mhm.
A tease.
I think we'll get a teaser. We won't get a full a trailer. We won't get a release date. We won't even get a full on game. We won't get gameplay. Obviously, I think it'll just be a teaser for something Naughty Dog related.
Yeah, I agree.
I remember seeing someone on like sort of threads like back when the Game Awards was coming out who was like adamant that they'd announced The Last of Us Part 3 there, and he's like no, and he's like, oh, but it's been like 3 or so years since Part 2 came out, and it's time. It's like, I'm like, no, there's been a pandemic. They've been working on online, which obviously they've cancelled now. Part 3 ain't coming out for a while, and I feel like, well, actually, bonus question, I'm not sure if you were actually going to ask this, do we think their new IP is going to come out first, or Part 3 is going to come out first?
I think Part 3 is coming out first. I think the new IP is far away. I think they've been working on Last of Us Part 3, because I think they want to wrap it up before they move on.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense because they've been doing so much Last of Us stuff. The TV show, the remasters, the online stuff shelving, so they can focus on single player content.
Yeah. Naughty Dog's,
I mean, the signs are there.
Naughty Dog's large, so they can work on different projects at the same time.
True,
Well,
but they are consolidating towards one thing, or at least a couple of things. So it seems like.
I mean, it's also similar to what they did with like Uncharted 1 to 3, and then they had The Last of Us as their side project.
Historically,
If that makes
It's just wild to think about now.
Historically, Naughty Dog's always finished their trilogy and then moved on to the next thing, I believe.
Yeah.
because they did Crash Bandicoot the trilogy, then they did Jack and Daxter, then they did Uncharted,
Then they.
and
Yes.
then
Well, they did do Uncharted 4, but yeah, and Lost Legacy.
But that
Although
was
Lost Legacy
after.
doesn't have Nathan Drake.
Well, that was after The Last of Us.
yeah.
If that makes sense.
That was but
like,
Last of
that
Us.
was-
But Last of Us came out after Uncharted 3, and then I guess they decided to do
Yeah.
4 as a new. They broke tradition, I guess. But you get what I'm saying? Like they typically like to wrap up
Yeah.
a trilogy.
They typically like to do a trilogy. Yep.
And if you know how Last of Us 2 part 2 ends, basically it leaves
It's a pretty happy ending.
very happy ending. It leaves the door open for Ellie to have another story to her character.
That's the thing. It's like.
Well, I mean,
it's
it left the door. It left the door open because Ellie couldn't actually quite close it. But I digress.
Yeah, but otherwise the series ends on a very
Jesus Christ! I
That's
can't believe I
terrible.
made that joke.
It ends on a very bleak note though. So like if they didn't do a part 3, that would be like, man, like that's it for her
Yeah.
character. Like that.
Yeah.
It feels. I know people. I know James would totally disagree with this, but I feel like I feel like it doesn't feel finale. It doesn't feel like a finale yet to me, just because it feels like it's just too much of a sour note for Ellie's character. Like, okay, that's her life now. She lost everybody, and that's it.
Yeah.
It just
I mean,
it doesn't
like,
feel like a conclusion to me.
part of me is like kind of like wants to say that like look I hope the series ends there because I just like I like the idea of like people having the balls to like kind of
Sure.
end their things in that way, and like I hate it when like things end on a dour note in one entry and then like a bunch of years later, and then like people complain, and then a bunch of years later they come back in and basically like undo most of it and have be all like happy and sort of smiles by the end, like the Rise of Skywalker syndrome, basically, where it's like they cave in and then they like basically undo anything that was like interesting or nuanced.
I doubt Neil Druckmann
about
does
the
that
initial
though.
one. No, I
Yeah.
doubt. I don't think he would, but like it's that thing of it's like trepidatiously excited for it. Like
Yeah.
it's inevitable that at this point, and like I've eased up to it over time.
Yeah, that won't happen
but-
though because Sony won't step in like Disney did and force Neil to do a certain thing.
No,
Like,
no.
He has,
Well, and
he has full control.
And I'm
everything.
sorry, but Neil Druckmann's also not J.J. Abrams, who wants to be honest with everybody, suck up to the fans and try to make everything
Plus-
very nostalgic.
Plus, J.J. Abrams is
Exactly.
he's the master at like building a mystery, and he always disappoints. Always.
Yeah.
He cannot close out his mystery. Every show and movie
he's
he's
the
done.
Stephen King of mysteries.
Yes, like he did Lost,
at
which I
least-
love,
I mean-
and then the ending of it, like just he
Yeah.
doesn't know how to close his
I mean-
mystery, and he leaves a lot of holes and stuff. So
He is not a closer.
not at all.
At least Stephen King has like the good, the odd good.
Yes, Stephen King
has his moments.
occasionally.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, he has his
occasionally Stephen
moments.
King can do a. Yes, he does.
So
anyway,
I think Last of Us Part 3 gets teased. I don't think we're gonna get any gameplay or a trailer. I just think we're gonna get like a title, like you know what I mean. Just
and
like
I just
music
want
and a
everyone to
title.
know right here, you can timestamp it. As for as much shit as I've talked about Neil Druckmann and Naughty Dog, I will scream like a banshee when I see even a tease. So
Yeah, I think
absolute
I
hypocrite
do think
right
that.
here.
Yeah. All right. Will Sony acquire Square Enix this year?
No.
No,
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I know people.
I
I know
think-
it's rumored, but Sony doesn't need to acquire Square Enix because they have. First of all, they have a really great partnership with them. So
Yes,
why
they
do
do.
they need to
Well,
buy
that's what
them?
I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like if anything, they'll probably announce like either an extension or like a, what's the word? Like a, basically like a better version of their partnership. Like they'll announce like, oh, we're like we've increased our partnership to like have to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'll acquire them. I feel like Sony, at least so far, like I know like with like Jim Ryan's out at some point if he isn't already. I
He's
feel
leaving.
like
I
they've
think he's
been
leaving in
pretty-
March officially. I believe that was what it said.
Yeah, like I feel like so far at least they've been pretty tactful of how they've handled their acquisitions.
Yeah.
Whereas like say with Bungie, like it seems like they've acquired them, but it's like they've also used them to help contribute to other stuff. Whereas like with Microsoft, it seems like more monopolistic, like monopoly based, where they're trying to like take over as much as possible to kind of like control.
Sony does things more
What-
organically historically.
Yeah, and like not to say that like oh Sony like Microsoft bad, Sony good, like
I know what you're saying.
but yeah.
Although
it's like it's more
Sony's
so
had a
far.
great relationship with Square Enix for a long time, so it wouldn't. I don't think it would be
Exactly.
out of the blue either. But I don't think
No.
so, and I don't think they would acquire Konami either. I don't think Sony's gonna
No,
make a
don't.
giant purchase, unless they really feel like they have to.
Unless they're like really backed into a corner, if Microsoft does something ambitious like the Activision or Bethesda
Yeah.
acquisition again.
And even then,
Yeah, I'd
I
actually
don't
like
think
to announce
Microsoft
that I
can.
am buying out Sony with my 0.2 cents, and I'm actually replacing Jim Ryan, as president. So that's why he's stepping down, because he knows a real person is gonna step up. So
That'd be a good topic,
right.
actually, if we were in charge. All right. Will we get DLC for Spider-Man 2 this year?
oh my god, I hope so.
Or let's say,
I haven't gone first on many of these.
or at
I haven't
least,
gone many-
or at least an
What
announcement
to
for next
say?
year, or an announcement
I
for
haven't
next
gone
year.
first on many of these, but I will go first on this one. I love Spider-Man 2 a lot. I feel like it did just come out, so I'm not sure how far apart. Can you look this up? How far apart was the City That Never Sleeps DLC and
Monthly,
Spider-Man?
monthly.
Well, no,
Monthly,
but how
so-
far apart was it from it starting to?
Monthly.
Oh, it was monthly.
Monthly.
Okay.
So September for the game, October for the first DLC, then November.
Oh,
then December.
they had the ship pre-planned. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, monthly's kind of already passed, right?
Plus,
Is it January.
Yeah, plus
I-
Insomniac are
so-
wizards though. They pull the games out of their asses. Like they just work on shit at the same time.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, look, obviously the elephant in the room here is how much did the leak affect? I don't know. Obviously that affected morale. Obviously it affected people in there. It's tough to say. I think
I mean, the other
it's
question
likely-
is what.
What
Other
would you
question is
do?
what did you guys? Other question is what did you guys see from the leaks?
I didn't see.
I saw-
because I
I saw
didn't
a
want
lot.
to look at it.
I saw
didn't wanna
all, I
look
saw
at
all
it.
the gameplay.
Personally, to me,
I'm not
I
just
felt-
talking like Wolverine here though. That's
I didn't see any Spider-Man leaks, but
okay.
was there
Okay,
Spider-Man leaks? Oh, you've been silent. Now I'm gonna look it up, but
I'll
I
keep it-
didn't-
I'll
I
keep
don't
it
care
silent.
about that kind of stuff. I don't mind getting spoiled like that. Like I don't.
Um,
I'll just say the Wolverine game looks like a typical Insomniac game. Like you can tell they made it.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Wolverine looks exactly like what I expected to. Like it looks like God of War, like the 20.
Yeah, it looks like Insomniac made a game. Yeah.
With
R2,
yeah, but with, like-
R3, except the adamantine.
Yeah, it has the same PlayStation
exactly.
template, which is not a bad
Exactly.
thing. But yeah,
yeah.
but I don't think so. I don't. If they did do it, I think it'd be Miles based because I'm not gonna say at the ending,
Yes.
but it has
It
to
is
be
the
Miles
ending,
based. But
yeah.
but I don't think so because I think we got a Miles game. I don't know what you can do really. I don't know what story you
Yeah.
can tell. I mean, I guess you can add on to like the cameo stuff that we got in the side quest. Well, I can't say what else. Mitch is just making a face, so now I'm.
Yeah.
So he knows something. I guess you can do an Into the Spider-Verse kind of thing. You can do a. I don't know. Can I? I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna spoil Spider-Man 2. Is it time to spoil it now? Like, is it a window?
Spoil it. Just ding ding ding. Skip ahead.
All right, this is
to-
a skip ahead moment.
Just-
I mean, they did
yeah.
Carnage, right? So like,
Yes.
could you do a Carnage thing? Would you say that for Spider-Man 3?
I would say for Spider-Man 3,
They
personally,
did.
Carnage is
They
huge.
did Into the Spider-Verse thing. I don't know if you can do something with that. That'd be kind of cool. What else was there? There was the whole story with the police officer. What's her name?
I forget her name. It's
Yuri.
Yuri. That was the whole thing with
Which is so
her.
funny.
So you can do another thing with her because. Mitch
Yeah,
made
the first
Mitch
one was
made-
about
I'm
her,
reading
so the
Mitch's
second one-
face because Mitch knows. I think so.
the second one. It's like poetry, Seb. It rhymes. So the second DLC could be about wrapping up her story. I don't know.
I feel like that's what it would be.
Yeah.
There was a lot more with that
What is-
fire
what is she
call.
called? The
There was a lot
Prowl-
with that
she's
fire
not the
call.
Prowler.
Wraith.
What is her name? The Wraith? Yeah, the Wraith.
Mitch
Yeah,
knows
right.
something, so now I think the answer is yes.
Just DM him already. I don't want to fucking know, but DM him.
I will after the podcast is over.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. Will Death Stranding 2 come out this year?
No.
I wanted to,
if
but no.
If it does, it will get delivered by USPS person right to your door.
By Norman Reedus.
That'd be a great-
By Norman Reedus. I know it's such a lame joke,
Well,
but it's
what-
the only fucking thing I think of.
That'd be crazy marketing, right? That was like Norman
That would be
Reedus
so
shows up
cool. Actually, that would be so fucking cool, and I'd probably
It's like a
buy it
baby.
just to have that experience. Just a baby on someone's back with a little sign on the tube that says "baby on board." Oh, that'd be so.
That's the
great.
future of FedEx. Imagine if FedEx actually does something like that. Like
Oh,
we're,
yeah.
we're now
That would be
powered
so
by
cool.
babies. All right. Kojima predicted the future. All right. Will
Yes, he's done it before.
now we know we're getting we're getting a DLC for Elden Ring. Will we get an expansion for Baldur's Gate 3 this year? Because people have been talking about that.
Okay, so I don't think so because
Is that
Larian have been very iffy about raising the level cap anymore because, and we talked about this before, after level 12, the spells that you can get are just game breaking and they're tough to account for. I'm not saying that Larian couldn't do it, but by their own admission, a lot of the spells, I mean, unless they outright just disable some spells that you can get at higher levels, but they're just, I mean, they're kind of game breaking in some ways in terms of like the game just can't account for, like if you get Wish as a spell or if you get, I don't know, it gets tough because by the end of the game, you're fighting dragons, you're fighting avatars of gods, like you're already getting up there in terms of like what I could see happen at the end of an RPG. I mean, they just came out with an epilogue DLC, which was like an hour long. I just don't feel like Larian is confident enough in how gaming works. I mean, generally, all of the Baldur's Gate games have ended around a level 10 or a level 12. They don't go to level 20 or anywhere close to that.
Mhm.
It's just the level. It's just the spells that you get, the actions you can take. I mean, it makes it hard to account for everything, and I don't blame them. I mean, even dungeon masters in D&D itself, the game that obviously Baldur's Gate is based on, have trouble dealing with higher level players. I mean, that's why a lot of campaigns, even campaigns written by Wizards of the Coast, the official company that owns D&D, don't go past level 10 or 12 because it's harder. It's not impossible, but it's harder to account for. Anyway, I've gone on and on about this. The answer is probably not.
I think the answer is no for this year, but I do think Larian's going to do something with Baldur's Gate 3 in the future. Cause
I think they'll eventually fold to public pressure, and they'll do something.
Yeah.
But I don't know what.
I think if there's
Well, I
DLC,
mean,
it'll be next year.
could they not just have a DLC where like it just either resets your character specs or like it just like kind of like downgrades it or kind of like rebalances it in that one instance?
They probably...
to account for new stuff.
I don't see why
or-
they can't balance the game. That's something. I don't think that'd be the reason why. I just think like they've split so much time and money into like a complete game that's like, what more could you do with a DLC? But you can always tell more stories, I suppose. So I feel like I feel like there will be one. Yeah.
There are definitely some stories. I mean, like my character that I ended up being with. I mean, we went literally into hell and fought demons. So, I mean, I'd love to see a DLC based on that at level 12. But again, I mean, that gets tough.
Yeah, but that's the thing about Dungeons and Dragons. There's always an unlimited amount of stories you can tell. So,
yeah, for sure.
but I don't think we're gonna get a DLC this year.
Yeah, not this year.
If it's next year, maybe it's announced this year, but not coming out
Yeah.
this year. All right, we're almost done. Capcom's on a remake binge right now. So they keep remaking Resident Evil games. But people are starting to think they're gonna remake other IPs that they have, and people are guessing that they're gonna remake Devil May Cry, like the first game.
Ooh.
So do you guys think that's a possibility that they remake the first game?
I think-
Like start the franchise over, like what, like? 'Cause the first game
Yeah,
doesn't.
because that went really well the first time with DMC.
That was a reboot, but you're right.
That was a full reboot.
That's a
yeah.
reboot. I know. Sorry, I got reboot and remake confused.
Because the first
but yeah.
game doesn't age well at all. Like I love
No,
Devil
it
May Cry,
doesn't.
but the first game is not good. Well, it's good for the time, I guess, but it just doesn't age well.
No.
I think I don't think it's a strong no. I think it's a maybe, but I'll say no right now.
Yeah, I'll say
I mean,
no as well. I think they're happy with where Devil May Cry is right now.
Well, that and like with how successful Devil May Cry 5 was, and the fact that
Yeah.
had such a, like, you know, like it had such a clear ending that, you know, it's like, okay, Nero is going to be like, you know, the main protagonist going forwards, but like there's still the room for like Dante and Virgil to come back. So like I have a feeling like they'd be silly to not advance the story in that sense.
Yeah, I think
DMC5 was so good, it got me into the franchise, not retroactively because I haven't played 1 through 4, but I mean, it was so good that I'm like, yeah, I love Devil May Cry now. Suddenly,
You should
Yeah.
play.
5 games into the series.
You should play 3 at least. 3 is really good. 3 still holds
I heard
up.
3 is good.
3 is one of the best.
1 and 2 is supposed to be pretty bad because
Wha-
they didn't have a lot of time
one
to do
it-
it, and one doesn't age well.
Well,
Yeah.
one doesn't age well. And plays like a survival horror-ish.
Right, because originally it was going to be a
The
Resident
camera
Evil game.
angles. Yeah, it was supposed to be
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4. And then Devil May Cry 2 was really bad.
Yeah.
But that game is you can play that game. You can beat that game in like 2 hours though. So if it's not like a chore. Like you have to sit through like a long ass game. You can like
Yeah.
you can beat that game in one sitting, which I did actually. I beat that game like 3 times on like one sitting each time. Because
Oh, wow.
I want to beat the whole game, whole series. And Devil May Cry 3 is legitimately amazing still to this day. The gameplay is still
Is 4
just
pretty
as good.
solid, or
4 is very solid as well. 4 sets up 5 because 4 is about Nero and stuff. So
yeah, of course.
4 is a 360 game, PS3 360 era game. So it feels like
I mean,
that a little bit.
they've got Wonderful, like the, you know, like they've got the Wonderful bundle on like on PS4 and PS5.
They do on Steam. I don't know if they do a bundle like that, but they do. 1 and 3 is always together in its own collection. It's like $10 usually on sale, and 4 is usually like $10. And Devil May Cry 5 is like $10 now. So the whole series is very accessible. For $30, you can probably get the whole series. All right.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't think they're remaking Dino Crisis, and I don't think they're remaking the Devil May Cry. I think what they're doing is, I think if anything, they're gonna remake Code of Veronica. I think that has a chance.
Yeah.
But I think the focus right now is Dragon's Dogma 2, Monster Hunter, and I think Resident Evil 9 is the next Resident
Yes.
Evil game. Now, if they are
Yeah.
remaking a Resident Evil game, it would be Code Veronica, and that'd be on the side. But I think the focus right now is Resident Evil 9 and all the new IPs. So, but I don't know what they're gonna remake.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right. Will we get a new platformer mascot kind of game? Like, will we get like a new Spyro game? Cause it's new Rayman game. Cause there was a Spyro's their Twitter page was posting stuff, and people were like, "Are you hinting that you're gonna do something with Spyro next? Toys for Bob? Are they gonna do something?"
Since like what Microsoft just only has just acquired Activision Blizzard, like I feel like yes, just not this year, if that makes sense. Like we're like probably like 2025 2026 is when we're gonna see it.
I feel like Seb's missing a very crucial part of history here. We've already gotten Volvi, the best platformer of all time. So, just saying.
That was years ago. I'm talking about this year.
That was years ago.
right.
Shut up! It's still real to me. Look, no, I mean,
Shut
I
up, you Mark.
kind of doubt it. It does feel like platformers are kind of dead. I feel like the Spyro Twitter account has been more active, or maybe I've just seen it on my TL more recent. Like,
Yeah, that New
more
Year's thing
recently.
they did was like little. It was like, huh?
Little sauce. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's literally, by the way, it is literally, everybody, the year of the dragon. So if they don't do something this year,
That's what I'm saying. That might even be
Yeah.
the. Oh, actually, I was saying that's the title, but I think that was the name of the game.
That
already.
was the title for
third
Spyro
one.
3, Year of the
yeah,
Dragon.
that was the third one. Yeah,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
I think I don't think it's like unrealistic. I actually think there's a legitimate chance of this.
I think they could do another
Because-
Spyro thing, or another Crash game, or they could do like a Twin Sanity. Maybe they do Spyro and Crash.
I think
I
it
know Twin Sanity originally was.
because don't forget
Vortex
Toys for.
Crash,
I mean, as you said, Toys for Bob actually after remastering the Crash games, they made Crash 4 like their own brand new
Right.
game. So it's not out of the question that they make their own Spyro
They did a
game.
great job with it.
So-
So, and now they're working on Call of Duty. Of
And
course,
I don't
the
think
ultimate reward.
and I don't think it has anything to do with Microsoft because they've been working on this. If there's a Spyro game coming out, I imagine they've been working on this for several years now. It has nothing to do with Microsoft.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like if Microsoft has taken over and there's like, hey, you know, we want a new Spyro, a new Crash, whatever.
Yeah.
Like they'd probably only just be starting development
Yeah.
proper.
All right. So
So-
2 more predictions and then we'll wrap it up. Will Well, we already talked about this. Will Wolf Among Us 2 come out this year?
No,
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 no.
Yeah.
no. It's
It-
yeah.
yeah,
I
it's
don't want
not.
to say it's stuck in development hell, but it's like it's still very much.
I don't
gonna
think it
be-
is.
It's stuck in
I want
development
it to be.
purgatory.
I want it to be,
Yeah.
but it's not happening.
Yeah.
Next year. If it's coming out next year, then people got really. It's time to like really question what the hell Telltale is doing right now. Because
Yeah,
the Expanse,
Yeah.
the Expanse was okay, but it was not. It's not on the level.
Expanse was
of,
kind of like a drop in the bucket or
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
it was.
There,
It was
Like,
a bad
it
year to
kinda
bring that
came
kind of
in.
game out too. I mean, it's just
yes,
it's not even a drop in a bucket, drop in an ocean.
they could have put it like right now. And I
Yeah.
think it would have been a way better time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then
And it could have had more time to polish it, but c'est la vie.
exactly.
Well, I mean that's every Telltale game.
Yes, that's true. That's true, Mitch.
It's
You
true,
don't have
but
to
the
come for me like that, but
storytelling
that's true.
always made up for
Yeah.
it. But the storytelling in Expanse was just not good enough to make up for the bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, will we get the GTA 6 like release date? I know we know it's coming out next year in 2025, but will we get like a actual number at the end of the year, like by the end of the year?
Yes, I think. I don't know how Rockstar usually does this, but I say yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so too.
I'd say so.
Towards the end of the year. Towards the end of the
Yeah,
year.
I think by the end of the year we're gonna get like a lot of showcase gameplay. I think they're gonna do they always do their own showcase, and I think they're
Yeah.
gonna show
Yeah.
gameplay. I think
They're hot shit.
I think we're gonna get like really deep into like the game itself, like what they did with GTA 3. I mean GTA 5.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Same with Red Dead 2 as well.
Yeah, with
Except
Red Dead.
that was more close to release.
Yeah, and GTA 5 came out in September
2013.
in 2013.
They probably have to wrap up all those lawsuits and the people that they depicted in the video first, but then they'll make the announcement. Rest assured.
So I could see like December they do like on the whole showcase, and then maybe it
Yeah.
comes out like in the spring or the summer.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
Because when did
Yeah, this feels like a summer game. I mean, it does because it takes place in Florida, but still, I mean, it feels like a summer game.
Red Dead Redemption 2 came out. Only thing is,
October.
historically, their games come out in the fall, so
Yeah.
that makes me
Late
question.
summer?
That makes me question if they're.
Nah, I
if
feel
they
like
would do it.
it'd be September, October.
Yeah,
No,
I think it would be the fall. Yeah,
It feels like a summer game to me, but that's just because it's in Florida.
I think
Yeah.
they do that too because they know their games sell like hotcakes, and you get closer to the holiday season. You know, they know
Exactly.
people are gonna go buy it.
I gotta start selling
Exactly.
hotcakes so I can make some money.
I know, right? And all right, so that's all our predictions. We did a lot of predictions, but
We sure did.
But I really like doing these predictions. I know we went a little longer than we usually do for these, but I think because it's such a big episode for about 2024, it was worth doing. We hit on pretty much everything. I feel like.
Everything. We hit on everything.
Yeah,
And we
that's going to be our
Well-
tagline for this episode. We hit on everything.
But we still are like way earlier than other episodes we've done in the past. So like it's 2.5 hours. So not bad at
Not
all.
too bad.
All right, so that's our episode. Next week we're gonna talk about Suicide Squad because Mitch can finally
Yes.
talk about it, and then we'll figure
Yeah.
out like what discussion topics we're gonna figure out because
I might also play the demo for Prince of Persia, so maybe we can talk about if there's enough to talk about.
Yeah.
yeah.
there's
So
enough.
we'll figure it out.
Free demo.
Yeah. So that's it. You all have a good night. Thanks for joining me, and peace.
Bon voyage.